Hello, hello. A very good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good day to you, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to another live stream with me, 320 Sim Pilot. And today we are, of course, taking the brand new freeware Airbus A310-300 from IniSimulations for a flight from Toulouse up to Gatwick, a sort of delivery flight, as it were. Quite a common route on the channel, but I quite like doing this route when we have a new aeroplane, so we can focus on the aeroplane and there's not much to talk about with the route. Having said that, this could be an interesting test of my computer's performance because the frame rates, as we all know, are quite severely impacted, shall we say, by the A310 at the moment. Hopefully that improves as time goes on. But I'm hopeful. I did film my video starting at Gatwick, so we had no trouble there. So yeah, fingers crossed. So thank you all for joining us. I hope you're all doing very, very well. It's great to see so many of you here looking forward to trying out the A310. It's also quite fun to be doing a Sunday afternoon stream. It's been a while since we've done that. This was sort of a mainstay for the channel during the pandemic. If anyone remembers what that is, but there we go. So hello on YouTube, Matteo. Thanks for coming along and moderating. Matteo Chewy is a big part of Dan Air Virtual, but also a big part of this community, and has put together the Dan Air Virtual SOP. So if you are looking to fly the A310 on VATSIM, or you'd like some help with it, there are some great manuals produced by Dan Air Virtual if you want to join up with them and fly around with a bit of motivation, shall we say, i.e. a virtual airline. It's a very nice one, very chilled out and enjoyable. But yeah, I'll be using pretty much those SOPs when I can, although I'm sure I'll get bits wrong, and Matteo will be sitting there wincing as I go through the wrong motions in this beautiful aeroplane. So yeah, so good to see you, Matteo. Thanks for coming along. Lauren V, thanks for coming along and moderating as well. Lauren says, was poking around some old seat maps yesterday, amazed to find Sabina only had 181 seats on board. Granted, a fair amount of that's first class, but still on par with an A320. Indeed, so this was operated by Sabina Airlines and as well. Yeah, as well as Dan Air Virtual features several older airlines. But yeah, 180 passengers, not many, but it is a small airplane. It's I say small, it's not a small airplane, but it's 100 tons. It's, you know, it is comparable to the smaller 767 or the bigger 757, I suppose. It's not, by today's standards, a large long-haul aircraft, although it certainly is a long-haul airplane. You could take this quite some distance. Ollie, good to see you. Checkpoint as well. I hope you're doing very well. Indeed, Sunday stream. David, I hope you're doing very well. And Ed Haslam, great to see you again. Thanks for joining us. Peter, Stormcode, all the way in Thailand. Excellent. I hope you're doing very well over in Thailand. Dishy, I hope you're doing well. Zane. I'm sorry, I'm sure I missed a lot of questions and so on, but I will have time in the cruise to chat and answer questions and discuss. So, but I'm sure you'll have more things to tell me than I'll have answers with this aeroplane. Mark Burgess, good to see you. Danjay Suresh, I hope you're doing very well. Great to see you again. Was there Hammy, Finflyer, Danny, Koala, Dara, James, great to see you all. Sleepy Sunday, indeed. I'm going to try and stay awake. But yeah, Matteo said, with my potato PC, I still managed 35 to 40 FPS. Oh, that's very good. That's interesting. Yeah, you must have some good settings. I need to adjust mine. I'm very processor limited at the moment. Mark said, just found time to update Microsoft Flight Simulator. Sun has been over since release and has been on the desktop PCs. There you go. Marty, good to see you. Yeah, excellent. Over on Twitch, if you'd like to watch us on Twitch, we are there as well. Good to see you, Lauren V. Thanks for moderating over there. Abelius Kittius, good to see you once again. Johnny says, really quite enjoying this plane. Hope they fix a poor performance. Yeah, it's poor, perhaps a bit harsh, but I suppose relatively, it's the hardest aircraft we've seen in Microsoft Flight Simulator so far, without a shadow of a doubt. I think that we were treated well by the Phoenix and the PMDG, but this was one of the hardest aircraft in X-Plane as well. So I'm not too surprised, and luckily it still runs and looks absolutely gorgeous. So it does make up for it. But yeah, hopefully they can. I think there's I've heard talk of a bug maybe that might be solved. We'll see. Fezberg, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Igloo Foo, Mr. Banana, and Oidu, hello to you, as well as AC455. Thanks for coming along and moderating. AC455 says, we're flying the TT aircraft UI model today. Oh no, it's not worked it out, has it? That's a shame. That is a shame. Strange. Microsoft Flight Simulator nearly always works on which airplane it's in, but there we go. It's got it wrong. Indeed, latest and greatest, they see. Good. Right. I'm going to merge the chats, so we'll see everything there. 2:30 a.m. live stream, says GKO. Sorry, yeah, this is a pretty standard stream for us, but I appreciate it's not going to be for everyone. MSGN23, good to see you on Twitch. Somehow I've been having better performance with this than the Phoenix. That's interesting. Yeah, it must be. There's going to be a lot of. I need to do some experimenting on my computer. This is definitely the worst I've had, but I need to work out different settings and see maybe a different DirectX version. Maybe I'll risk 12. I don't know. Captain Roger says, hello Captain, just found your channel. It helps me motivate to finish aviation. Good stuff. Thank you so much, Captain Roger. Glad it helps. That's great to hear. Good. Okay, right, enough. Let's take a look at the outside. We've got lots of time. I'm completely free for the evening, so apologies. This could be a more relaxed stream. But yeah, it's a beautiful model. Again, excuse the any frame rates you're going to see. It's totally flyable. There's no doubt about that. But I'm sitting at about 20 frames a second, which is unusual. Normally I'm at a stellar 30. But yeah, so here we are. We're sat in Toulouse. We are on VATSIM. If you'd like to fly along, CloudBot will hopefully come to life. Let me just check if it has. Maybe not yet. So CloudBot is now waking up, and it does have the route in there, so you should be able to join in if you'd like. We're over on the Airbus side of Toulouse, and here it is, sitting in all its glory. No, I haven't got the ground equipment up to the airplane yet. I haven't quite worked out how to do that. It doesn't come included as far as I can tell, but we have got the doors open, which is quite fun. And you've all seen the exterior model. It's absolutely lovely. Some of the liveries, the default liveries, I was a little bit disappointed. They were very clean, but fortunately, all the actual liveries, the non-fictitious ones, they've done a great job with the weathering. So that's... Oh, what happened there? What is going on with the drone there? Let's try flying a bit higher. Yeah, it's been a real treat to see. IniSimulations, I don't know what... Oh, I do know what's going on. There we go, solved. Yeah, the IniSimulations liveries are often top notch, and this one's no exception. Look at that, just great. All the little rivets losing the paint. You can actually hear the cranking of the turbine sort of clattering as they tick over in the wind, which is great. Yeah, lovely. It's a lovely visual model. Now, I think I downloaded the extra bits. Does that mean I downloaded the extra bits? I have a cabin. I went to the store. Oh, sorry. My chat was a bit delayed there. Giuseppe Gaming, Twinfly, good to see you. Giuseppe says, that's... oh, I missed the first part of that. Oh, dear, my chat has been very delayed. I think performance compared to the Phoenix depends a lot whether you're more CPU or GPU bound. It's definitely more CPU heavy than the Phoenix, while the Phoenix is more GPU. Yes, so I'm CPU limited. My processor's too weak now. I'm beginning to realize I need to upgrade it because I think it's so heavily limiting my flight simulator. But I just have to take the risk and open up my computer or put in a new motherboard. Oh, and do I need new RAM? I don't know. I haven't been in the world of building computers since I built this one, so it's going to be a whole headache. But yeah, lovely. Oh, quite a modern A310. Yes, we splashed out. We bought the screens. Excellent, excellent, excellent. And some nice blue lighting as well. Very nice. Matteo says, if I load Heathrow, my PC will catch fire. There you go. Right, let's see. Tamek says, thank you for all the great videos you do, especially guys for Fly-by-Wire and Phoenix. Any chance you'll one day fly RNAV approach to Bolzano? Oh, we could do, yeah. If you, yeah, keep suggesting it. Maybe one day I'll I'll get around to it. Kevin means you have the extra bits. Okay, good. So I did download the updates. And Igloo Fu says, did Seattle Heathrow in the Innis American Airlines livery? The shiny was awesome during summer. Oh, very nice, very nice. MSGN is more GPU limited, right? So yeah, so I need a new processor. Oh, that's a shame. That's the hardest bit to replace. But still, I will see what I can do. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know what I'm going to do now. I'm just idly flying the drone around. I do always like enjoying these airplanes. It's one of those nice things. Sometimes on the 320, if you ever get the airplane parked up like this without any vehicles attached to it and it's just sitting there, they look very nice. You can see how well put together they are and streamlined they are, but usually they're just surrounded by vehicles and trucks and things, and you can't get a glimpse of them. Nice grime behind the slats. That's usually the reason that you get this black trails around the slats and flaps and things is old grease that gets grubby and then drains back. But when it's fresh, it's usually sort of a dark orange color, which can look suspiciously like blood, as if you had a bird strike. So yeah, it's quite. Sometimes you have to do a bit of interpretation, looking at the engine or around the flaps, and work out whether it's likely to be grease. Chevron electric engines, there they are. Nice, lots and lots of fan blades on these old style engines. Yeah, we seem to have reduced that. That trend has changed. Soon they'll look like turboprops. Just have 6 blades. What? I'm so sorry. My chat is absolutely delayed, so if I miss things, I can only apologize. Frank's gonna get a coffee. Very nice. Enjoy. Kyle, this GPU limited. Have to slightly overclock it. Works fine. Yeah. So I tried using DLSS and it didn't do anything. It was because I'm just CPU limited anyway. So DLSS didn't help at all. Just made it look a bit blurry. Remember, if you go for Gen 12 or above, you'll need Windows 11 to utilize the special cores. Okay, so I need to upgrade to Windows. Oh, it's going to be a big project, that, isn't it? And can I use the same RAM? I don't. Will the RAM from my i10 series work? Or is that going to have changed? I hope not. Yeah, lovely, lovely, lovely. They got all the wear, PBR textures and whatnot. Yeah, it's great. By the way, this little hold, this aft hold, this bulk hold, this could have come straight out of the A320. It looks just like it. And same for the APU inlet. They have just copy and pasted that in the design straight onto the 320. That's almost identical, which is really great. You'll notice there's a lot more rivets in the tail section of the airplane, so they seem to stick out. Now, I haven't seen an A310 up close. They're very rare these days. But the Dash 8 had a similar thing where all super streamlined rivets were like this, and then you got to the tail section and it was they were all sticking out, and they didn't bother to flatten them, presumably because they're more expensive, or maybe they're heavier, I don't know, to be flatter. But they obviously decided it didn't matter at that point on the airplane. 320, they're all streamlined, but for some reason on the 310 it looks like they might not be, but I don't know for sure. Super grubby tail often the grubbiest part, no surprise there. Of course, being at the back of the airplane, all the oil and hydraulic fluid and old bits run to the back and then sort of dry up there. Lovely. Oh yeah, and this little T shape at over the landing gear, there's a similar thing on the 320 where the gear structures into the wing. No idea what it looks like inside, but still. Right, let us jump into the flight deck. So it's cold and dark airplane. We're using live weather. We are on VATSIM, but we are running with the time set earlier in the day so that we can actually see what we're doing. So yeah, this is all very nice, isn't it? The ground system. Let me go bring up the Dan Air virtual procedures, and we're going to get the airplane turned on. I think we have a ground power available. Yeah, we do. Spencer's other cargo deliveries. I don't think there are just yet. Mark says that IniSimulations done a fab job. They have indeed. Free plane looking fresh as Captain Roger. Indeed. No, it's unbelievable. I can't believe it. It's a freeware aircraft that they've just provided for us. You've got to give credit to Asobo, Microsoft and IniBuilds for providing this to us. Really, really nice. Henrik's going to fly it from ENGM to Amsterdam. Good help from the tutorial. Glad the tutorial. Yeah, so I have a tutorial on the channel. If you don't want to sit here and listen to me chat and sort of ramble, go to my channel and there is a 1 hour video which is a full flight guide from starting with the engines running. But there you go. I also have the cold and dark setup if you go to my prep video. No go cargo vision for the moment. Indeed not. But there we go. Okay, so I don't want to spend too long talking about the flight deck then. We're not going to do a full sort of video or tutorial on it because it sounds like a lot of you are already flying it. And like I say, I have 2 videos up on it at the moment. And both of those videos I go through where all the different panels are. So we're going to go through the SOPs as per normal. So, and you'll recognize these on the 320. Ignition off, but it's up here instead of down in the middle. Wipers off, they are both in the middle there. Throttle levers, check idle. They are indeed. I have not got these calibrated properly yet, so I don't have the reverse, but there we go. Throttle levers, check idle. Reversers are stowed. Fuel high pressure valves check off. That's these 2 here. They are off. Landing gear lever down. It's down. Rear overhead CB panels. We will check all the CBs. Now, as we know, I don't think the CBs are functional at the moment, and there's no failures, so we'll leave those alone. Batteries 1, 2, and 3 check off. So you would go here, and just like in 320, but they're in a different place. Here's our 3 batteries. They are off. And then we can go up here and we can look at the batteries and check the voltage. So you click that, and then the DC voltage there changes. Thanks, Viper, for the follow. This will be my first A310 VATSIM flight, then, good luck. I hope it goes well. Lauren Reese says, what's the point of this channel if not to listen to you chat around? Well, exactly. Especially the streams. Firelock says, what editor do they use to create these aircraft? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. Someone will know in the chat, I'm sure. Marty says, why upgrade with those specs? Should I work more than fine? Sadly, I think my i7-10700, it's struggling. Yeah, that's the only way to put it. It was very good when I got it, but it's struggling. But anyway, all the voltage is good. So we can now put the batteries to auto. As always, let me know how the audio is, whether you can hear the airplane or not enough. I keep having to adjust it, but there we go. So batteries are now in auto, AC emergency inverter on, and DC essential on, backlight on. So there it is, essential on bat, AC emergency inverter. Again, stuff that we just don't have to do anymore on the 320. They've removed a lot of these checks. It's great. APU fire protection. So we do the APU fire test, which is here, but I'm not entirely sure of the sequence of that. I think it runs through it on its own when you press that. There we go. Thanks for the follow, official 757. 757, one of our favourites. So you do script test, agent test, and loop test. Press and hold, which I didn't do, but I don't want to mess it up. And then electrical power, if illuminated, on. External power. So there it is. On. Machine comes to life. Available lights would extinguish, and it would say on. That's good. Audio seems good to system log. Okay. Oh, let me know how it is now. Maybe it's a bit loud. We shall see. Carl says, I always watch your videos to learn how to fly these planes. I'm like a pro with Phoenix now because of you. Now I've learned the A310 due to you too. That auto throttle genius. Auto throttle button, CPD 80 seat genius. You know, it took me ages to find that little button just by clicking around the flight deck. But it's absolutely crucial, isn't it, for taking off? There is a fix. Thanks to our membership. Yeah, I'll apply that fix to get the throttles working. Yeah, the buttons, yeah, these sorts of switches, by the way, these squares, they brought them into 320. They are incredibly satisfying. There's no doubt about it. The dimmer light does work as well. That's pretty good. Good. Caleb says, love your streams, always very informative. Great, thanks, Caleb. I'm glad you enjoy them. I'll stop talking and I'll get on with actually doing the video. So, we're on external power now. Next thing to do would be, we've done the AP5 test, so if we didn't have external power, we would have left it off. But now we're going to start the APU. And I'm going to do this, let's just check it works. It's a delivery flight, we want to check everything. So we're going to put the master switch on, you get a little low pressure on the fuel, and then we can just press start. Again, this whole thing simplified even more for the 320, but pretty straightforward here, no doubt about it. Down here on the lower right display, I would have thought we'd get it automatically. It has a message for the doors because they're open. So let's clear that. No, it's not having it. Well, let's just force it to APU. It does go to this page automatically. Otherwise, we should see an Excel light. So start is on. Wait for the new AMD 3D CPU. It will be the best, highest L3 cache. Okay, thanks. Yeah, that could work. Sounds like the audio is good. Great. So yeah, this should start up unless I've missed something really obvious, which is very likely. Batteries on, external power's on. Press starts. Fuel pump, by the way, is in auto, you see, so you don't have to turn on one of the actual main pumps. It automatically will do it. I'm assuming, I wonder if we go outside, will it show us a little flap opening? There it is. Down there it says, do you prefer A300 or the A310? And is there any substantial difference between the two? No, no substantial difference. APU fuel low pressure, fuel tank pumps on. No, okay, so it hasn't worked. It does want some fuel pumps on, so we turn those on. Normally you just do that later in the flow. Let's solve that. But it did start anyway. It's accelerating. No substantial difference. I would say, yeah, whichever you like, A300, A310. My favourite is the Beluga, which is a version of the A300. But yeah, I really want the Beluga in this simulator. Okay, APU's up and running, 100, EGT's dropping, all good. We can put this back to auto. I don't know why I'm so upset about the doors. We know the doors are open. That's on purpose. Good, right. Let us move along. I'm going to get some lights up and running for everyone so we can see what's going on. Although it's good lighting today. I'm getting hugely delayed messages, so I can only apologise about this. I don't know what's going on. Jorg, I can see your super chat, so thanks so much, Jorg, for your €5 donation. Really, really appreciate it. Very kind of you. I'm sorry it hasn't appeared properly, but yeah, really appreciate it. Jorg says, I think Airbus is tricking you. I think they are delivering a used aircraft to you and not a new one. Yes, I think you might be right. It's looking a bit grubby, but they did give us those TV screens, so we'll take that as a win. But yeah, thank you, Jorg. Thank you for your €5 donation. Really, really appreciate it. Very, very kind. There we go. It's finally appeared. Thanks so much. Really appreciate it, Jorg. And thank you for watching along today. Very kind. Good, so those lights. So yeah, confusingly, the overhead panel is done on this little light here. I don't see why not. In my eyes, they should just put all the lights in one exact panel and then it could be very straightforward. But instead, we've got to go through each panel and adjust accordingly. So we'll turn up the FCU lights. And we'll do the panel lights. Main instrument panel floods, map light, yeah, we'll turn them all on, Okay, good. So, that should give you some nice visuals. Done electrical power. Probe heats we can leave off for now. Ventilation lights, which are up here, will be off. Annunciator lights we've already put into bright, and we can do the test, and it will run through a whole load of tests. If you flick it up. 320 doesn't do this. It just shows you the lights. This one even gives you that auto call out, the wind shear or audible call out. It was a slow APU indeed. Firelock says, I'd love if Microsoft Flight Simulator made a DC9. Oh yeah, very good, very good. Stormcode says, do they really use the green tech CRT screens for the glass cockpits in the A310? No, they're not. They aren't. Oh yeah, for the MCDUs, yeah, they absolutely did. Yeah, yeah. Like on the 7.5, 7.6.7s. Yeah, that was just what was around at that time. You're not going to spend all the extra money for a colour screen if you didn't need to, I suppose. But the colour used on the MCDU in the Airbus is complete genius. It's very good, very good. Mr. Banana says, my number one wish for the sim would be a proper A350. Wow, yes, that would be quite nice, wouldn't it? Right. Indeed, MPS Gaming says this aircraft is nice as a nice checklist. It does. You can actually do my favourite thing if you're learning in your airplane and run through this checklist. But we're not going to do that today. It's a little bit clunky when trying to do it on stream, but it is a great feature for using it. Okay. Right. Anyway, lights can go back to bright. And we're going to do APU bleed. We can turn on. So that's hidden over here. Let's just leave the camera in the middle. I think that's going to be best than moving it around. APU bleed on. And then you get these nice, I like these switches. We don't get this on the 320. They sort of show you the diagram and the lines through. Very clever, very neat. The packs are on, that's good. So yeah, we're getting ventilation in the flight deck. Perfect. Good. And parking brake is down here. And let me just check, it's on. Yeah, so in the vertical position it is on. Good. Now we do a test of the alternate brakes. I'm not going to spend too much time with that. Speed brake lever should be retracted and disarmed. Slats flaps are at 0 and 0, which matches the position of the slats and flaps, 0 and 0. Gear pins you check, that's another thing, and then we can put the IRSs into nav. Very straightforward, exactly the same as 320, just in a slightly different location. 1, 2, 3. Still haven't decided if I think this is better or the modern way of having them all together is better. I assume Airbus think together is better, or maybe it's a space-saving issue, I don't know. But having them separate does at least mean you can't do all three at once. The downside is, I suppose, you might accidentally do one not realising it's an IRS because it's just hidden with all the other switches. So I'm sure some big, expensive risk assessments and lots of paperwork's been written about it. Abby Learns to Fly says, just started learning to fly with FSX. These cockpits are amazing. Thank you for streaming this. No, you're very welcome. Thanks for coming along and watching. And good luck with FSX. It's spent a lot of happy memories on FSX. Danny says, I love the green so much. There you go. Yeah, it is popular. Chris Hogg, thanks for coming along. Thanks for watching. Glad you're joining us. Good. Right. So IRSs are now aligning, and we can go to the CDU and do an init. It's called a CDU, disappointingly, which is what Boeing call it. There you go. It says align IRS. So I'm just going to check we have the right database. Init page. We can tell it where we are. LFEO, and I'm going to tell it where we're going to Gatwick. You could do this later, frankly. There's no company route in there. Align IRS, CPS primary. So that's good. I did put it to instant align, so that's probably why it gives me that message straight away. Good. Cabin signs, which are over here. Captain gets total control over what the signs are doing. On and auto. So the auto position for no smoking has already been a thing in the A310. Hard to believe, but there it is. Hydraulic, we've got the fluids, and if I check this panel here, hydraulic, good, all looking good. Flight recorder, ground control can go on. Oh, so that would be here on the 320. Where do they put it? Where do they put it? Where do they put it? That's one I haven't seen actually. Oh, there. No, it's got to be door. Don't know. We'll skip that. Doesn't matter too much. It will start up when the engines are running anyway. External lights as required. We'll have the strobes to auto, beacon off, turn off lights off, nav and logo to system 1, all the other external lights off. Pitch trim and yaw dampers, we can turn them on. So pitch trim, yaw dampers, and you'll notice now we get our FCU numbers. They were missing before, and ATS can go on as well. They won't work, or not all of those will work until the IRSs are aligned. The pitch trim will not work unless the IRSs are aligned. Now you do your engine fire test. We're not going to bother too much with that. Fuel crossfeed, we're going to just turn all the fuel pumps on. We don't need to crossfeed, so we'll leave it across. And we check the landing gear is down. We've got 3 greens down here, and we have 3 greens on the backup up there. A couple of voice recorder check we would do. And Stephen9975, good to see you. I was looking for the flight recorder. Not sure why the CVR panel. Don't know why it's so. It's probably right in front of me. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. AC says, I've seen a beluga flying low yesterday when I was out and about at work. Didn't realize how big they are. Yeah, they are absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. Top of the leftmost panel. Thanks, Mateo. Mateo is the. Oh, there it is. Ground control. Thank you very much. Mateo is the A310 guru, no doubt. Oh, and Bishop says, so the colours of the hydraulics are different for the 310. Blue isn't in the middle. Yeah, no, slightly rearranged. So they've got blue, green, yellow. But they use those three colours, but it's also different on the 330 as to which one does what. So then that's not very standard. It probably doesn't matter too much. Thanks, Stephen. Thanks, Dan. Yeah, so my chat's way delayed. I can only apologise. I'm not using GSX, if anyone's wondering. Apologies for that. Good. Okay, so we get rid of the hydraulics panel. Where was I? Now we're on to... So we've done CVR, cabin pressure. So this is very different to the 320. They got rid of all of this and put it into the lower systems page on the screens. These are the outflow valves. O and C is open and closed. So that's what they're telling us. So they're driven fully open on the ground because we don't want to accidentally pressurize the airplane while it's parked up. So those are fully open. Differential pressure therefore is 0 because they're the same as the outside world. Manual pressurization is off. If you turn it on, you'll get this arrow and the little on. We do not want that. We want the auto pressurization rate limit set to norm. So just set that to norm there. So that's all good. It says rate light check extinguish. It is. And then it's on system 1, which just doesn't matter. Thanks, Astro, for the follow. System 1 for the pressurization. You can choose system 2. But we'll leave it alone. And the cabin altitude is set at, well, yeah, it's just sea level. Yeah. Oh, sorry, not sea level. The current level where we are with the doors open. We can now turn on the low supply for the oxygen, which gives low pressure oxygen to the flight deck if we need it in a depressurization. And then we do your engine fire and some more engine fire tests. We'll check that we have the pressurization set up, which we do. I'm going to leave this all pretty much auto and all the lights out. That's what I want to do here. Good. And now we're going to go into the CDU, as it were. Just a quick check that we've done everything else we want to do. So FCU we'll deal with once we load up our departure. Engine displays are all pretty sensible. It looks like the engines have been run 85 degrees, pretty warm. There we go. And we've got low pressure on the accumulator, but as they close the cargo door, that one actually should improve. So let's see if it does actually. I wonder if it's like the 320. We'll see on the... I don't know how it works. I assume they're using the hydraulic systems. Maybe not. Maybe it's not the same. Ooh, that frame rate. Anyway, there's no close. So we're a bit low on the accumulator, but there we go. Right, let's go over to the CDU. Load in the flights. I like these green screens. It has a button simply for brake low pressure. Ah, thanks, active low. Where's that? Flex takeoff temperature. We will get to. Yep. All it's doing is telling the airplane the temperature is higher than it really is. So the airplane... Hotter air has less density, so it will provide less fuel because there's less dense air, so we have to use less fuel. Otherwise, you're just chucking it in nothing. So by telling the airplane it's hotter than it is, it will use less fuel and therefore just use a bit less takeoff thrust. Why we do that and don't just set an N1 that's lower, I don't actually know. It seems there must be a technical reason for it. It's better to trick the engines than it is to actually use a lower setting. Yeah, so where is the brake low? Brake low, brake low. If someone knows to top up the accumulator, because clearly the cargo doors don't do it like they do on the 320. I feel like I might have seen that somewhere. Anyway, in the meantime, we're going from Toulouse to Gatwick. We're going to be the MXZ, so Manta 222. And that's always our sort of test flight number. Cost of X can be 0. We're going to cruise up at flight level 360. Good, it's going to be pretty cold up there. Under the throttles, okay. Let's see if we can do this brake. Take it one big. No. Oh, it's going to be right in front of me, I'm sure. Parking brake accumulates pressure. There we go. So what happens if I press that? There it goes. Brilliant. Thank you very much. So now we have the accumulator pressure and the parking brakes are at the full pressure that we want. Excellent. Thank you. See, this is, I knew I'd be asking you guys more than I'll be telling you. That's for sure. Alternate, for some reason, listed as EBBR. Ridiculous. We won't be using that, but there we go. We'll put it in just to make the numbers work for the plan. And that's the init A. Then we'll go next page, init B, and we're going to go with... Actually, before we do this, let's load up the airplane. Let's make sure we have a load sheet that works. That's the checklist. Load and balance. There we go. So, plan. I want a zero fuel weight of about 108 tons. This is a really nice system they've got here. It shows you everything. So, I know my zero fuel should be about 108. Pretty heavy. There we go. We're pretty full. So 107.7, and then I want a fuel of 12 tons. So just drag the fuel, which is almost nothing. So I'm going to take 15 tons, just over 15. There we go. And then all we have to do is say apply, and it will go to live. Simon, thanks so much, Simon, for the $5 super chat. Really appreciate it. Simon says, do you use a reshade preset of any sort? And what chassis are you currently using for the 310? Epic Stream, it'll be a fun one for sure. Thanks so much, Simon. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you for the $5 donation. I do not use any reshade at all. This is just default visuals on ultra settings, 1440p. Yeah, that's all it is. In terms of the checklist, I'm using the Danair Virtual checklists. Yeah, so Danair Virtual is the place to go for that. So yeah, thank you so much, though. Thank you for the very, very kind donation. Thank you, Simon. Thank you, Jorg, as well. Really appreciate it. So now if we go to live, we can see they all match up. So 107.7 is our zero fuel weights. And we got a block fuel of 15.2. Good. And CG as well, of course, 23.7. Quite far forwards. 1.6. Right, so back to the CDU. And we're going to go with zero fuel weight, 107.7. Block fuel, 15.2. I'm just going to turn the sound down a bit. I think that could be a bit loud. There we go, and CG of 23.7. Now, if you start engines running, you don't have to actually do any of this, but there we go. 23.7, cruising at 3.6, optimum 3.62, so SimBrief did a good job there. Alternate 3.1 tons of fuel, yeah, ridiculous. 400 a taxi, quite thirsty. On the Airbus, we allow 200 normally. Thanks, Gaming with Volt, good to see you. Graphics looking very crispy. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm not able to read the name properly. I don't know how to do that. So, but thank you. And yeah, graphics looking alright, aren't they? Yeah, so there we go. This is with the upgraded textures, which do look nicer. I've noticed it's definitely better than it was by default. Maximum flight level 371, perfect. So there you go. So we're done in it A, we're done in it B. Next is flight plan. Now, do we have any controllers here or runway in use? Let me just check. No, there's no controllers here. We can do what we want. So we're going to go from 1-4 right. The reason I'm doing 1-4 right is because that is the... in fact, should we grab a weather? So if you go menu, ACARS, ATIS, LFPO. By the way, I could not get the... There you go, company message received. I could not get the SimBrief to download the last time I tried. I wasn't going to do it today anyway, but there we go. So 13013, definitely 1-4. So that's perfect. 1-4 right's going to be the runway, 18 degrees. And we got wind of 13013. QNH of 1017. Great. That printing feature in fly-by-wire is still industry leading, isn't it? It's just great. So 1-4 right. So click, just like the Airbus, click. 1-4 right. We're going with the LACO 5 Alpha. And insert. Insert in the bottom left for some reason. I don't know why they moved it over to the right. Oh, ATS can break it. Oh, okay. Oh dear. Well, hopefully not. We won't do that again then. That takes us through to LACO, and then we're going to go direct to... yeah, this is much... I wish I'd made my video with this update. I didn't realise there was a textures update for it. And then Charlie November Alpha. But these buttons look especially nice. I can sort of forgive the performance hit now. It looks so nice. Because I thought it was a little bit blurry at the first time I jumped into the flight deck. Manic. and then manic. Interesting, you don't, I guess it's because it's on the ground. It doesn't ask us to insert any of these changes. It just does it straight away. Taking the Upper Yankee 110 to Rev 2. And then we're taking from Rev 2 Upper Papa 88, leaving that at Vasux, which is going to be our arrival into Gatters. So select Gatwick, star. It's supposedly ILS08 right, but we shall see. Vasux 1 Golf. There's probably a controller there who will almost certainly tell us that that's completely the wrong thing to do, but there we go. So there is our flight plan. We can already check it just like on the 320. Straightforward. We go to plan, constraints, zoom in, and then scroll through the flight plan. And there it is. It does have a discontinuity between Goktu and Vasux. We can solve that later on, but I'll probably forget because I'll be chatting at top of the descent. There you go, so I can see that they will just connect up. Now, interestingly, you'll see here, so here's our departure, the Laco from 14 right. I wanted to fly this one, it's quite fun. Taking off from 14 right, we go ahead, and then we're going to make a right turn back round. So the 5 hotel is tighter, you turn at 1,000. We're doing the 5 alpha, so we do wider, out to 8 miles to Toulouse, and then back round, and then over the VOR, and off you go. It's going to be above 4,000 feet at that point. 5 alpha is there, and transition of 5,000 feet. It's initial flight at 70, so we'll put 70 into window now. There you go. Someone kindly commented telling me that you can click on that to change it to 1,000, so that's great. Thank you for that. I was wondering why it sometimes was and sometimes wasn't. Nicholas says, hi, 1310 is a great plane. Enjoy flying it. Yes, excellent. Daniel's going to use 14 left. Yep, so 14 left will be correct for the passenger terminal. We're picking up from Airbus directly in there. Not so new aeroplane. Lauren V says, you probably couldn't get the update due to server issues when you recorded. That's true. No, you're absolutely right. I couldn't. Because I couldn't even use the online features when I did. I haven't used the new Navigraph app yet. No, MSFS Papa. No, I will do that at some point. Good. So, yeah, there we go. We got our route out, stopping at 7,000 feet, and off we go. Now, interestingly, the nav display isn't showing the turn, and I don't entirely know why. Normally on the 320, it would do this, these straight lines, until it gets the init B page. So let's just check it's in here. So 14 right, 2,500 feet to Delta 142 Hotel. So that's radial on the 142, which is hotel. So hotel is the 8th letter of the alphabet, I hope. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So that's 8 miles on the 142 radial, and above 4,000 feet, which it needs to be, and then Toulouse with a right turn. So it makes a right turn back to the VOR. So that's worked, and then out to Laku. So I'm happy with that. It doesn't look right, but it will fly right when we get in the air, I'm expecting. But we know what to do if it doesn't. Right, so that's the flight plan done. And then secondary flight plan, I'm just going to copy the active. I'm not too worried. Thanks for the follow. What else do we need to do? Yeah, these buttons, really good. Progress page will show us what it's tuned. So we have the Toulouse VOR tuned automatically on both sides. The little A, automatic, 117.7. That is the VOR we'll be flying back to. So even if everything drops out, if that's tuned, I can just go and do that myself. If that does fail, or this tunes the wrong thing, I can manually tune in here, or if this has failed, I can tune it on here, but we don't need to worry about that right now. Good. Okay, so that's looking good. It thinks we're going to make the restrictions. Great. Right, let's go on our little procedures. We're almost there. So we've done the load, done the secondary, and the progress page. We don't need to change what it's tuned. We've done the weights. So it's time for performance. Yeah, a big part of this. So we go into here, and then we need to put in the takeoff run available, because it doesn't seem to know the runway automatically unless anyone's found a way to make it do that. So takeoff run available, by the way, is on the ground charts. So if we go to airports, we're taking off from runway 14 right, takeoff number 5 from 14 right, and then from runway head from Sierra 10. So which intersection are we going to take off from? Let's put in Sierra 10, which is, yeah, let's do Sierra 10. And then we'll just go either from Sierra 10 or full length. So it's going to be 3,018 meters. More than enough runway. Quite a neat system they come up with. I like this lateral keyboard sort of numbers. 3018 is a dry runway. Runway is, it's 14 something. I've just been in 140, close enough. Wind 130 at 10. I always round down slightly on the wind. Temperature, we said, was 18. It's quite a pleasant day. Very mild for November. QNH of 1017. Yeah, this is good. Very responsive. Takeoff weight, we've agreed 107.7. We can actually see our gross weight. It'll be over here. Gross weight 122.8. So it'll be 122.4 by the time that taxi fuel's gone. Flaps 15 and 0, so no flaps, just some slats. That'll be absolutely fine. Anti-ice off, air conditioning on, and then calculate. 4 Prawns, good to see you. 4 Prawns, thank you so much for your very, very kind donation before the stream. Really, really appreciate it. 4 Prawns, big supporter of the channel. Very, very kind, and thank you so much. And it will indeed go towards some Flight Simulator stuff, I'm sure, and some pizza and beer. So thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it, 4 Prawns. Good to see you here. Thanks for joining us. Yes, I have had trouble with the TTA throttles. There is a bug with it. There is a fix to be applied apparently, which I have not done yet. So I've changed it so it's not on the same axes. I just do reverse with the F2 key, like the old days. I'm Dimitri. Good to see you. Greetings from Vancouver, Captain, says Dimitri. Good to see you in the short and stubby. She's a helmet. Indeed, short and stubby. Great to see you. I'm Dimitri. Thanks for joining us, and I hope you're doing very well. Good. Daniel's parked to the right. Excellent. Imaginary says good evening. Good to see you, Imaginary. Thanks for joining us today. Old membership says it puts correct values to the left number entry if it knows them. Ah, interesting. Okay, yeah. Yeah, doesn't seem to take the runway from anywhere, but that's fine. So flex 59, and we got a runway. Sorry, a V1 of 156, a VR 158, V2 161. So no performance page on this one. We go to takeoff approach. It only serves two purposes, which is these two things. We're going to go with a V1 of 156, 158, rotates, and then V2 we don't enter there. I assume we can't enter it into there. It'd be cool if we could. No. Yeah, you need to set it up here separately. 161. 161. Now we said flex to 59. You'll notice there's no space to put it here. We've got a clean speed of 222 knots. So let me just check our departure. Is that going to be an issue? What's the speed limit on the Laku 5 Alpha? Runway drag 200 feet, right to 8 miles. Nope, no speed limit, so that's fine. We'll just clean straight up. We'll accelerate at 1,500 feet above the runway, which is 2,000 feet roughly. And takeoff shift, well, I'm not going to bother with it because it doesn't matter. It's GPS aircraft anyway. I'm assuming that's the same for the 310. Right, flex temperature. So here we are going to do a flex takeoff. So instead of toga, I select flex takeoff, and now I set the temperature. You'll see toga thrust is 102.1% on the N1s. If we do flex and I tell it the temperature is higher and the number comes from that performance calculator, we'll put in 59. We are now telling the aircraft that the outside air temperature is 59 degrees, which is very hot, so the air would be very thin, so it would use less fuel because it can't get any more thrust out of it. So 59, 96.9, that's all good. This automatically at the thrust reduction will swap over to auto. It's great and go into the climb phase, so I love that. It's great little system. Even easier on the 320, of course. That panel's gone. You just type it into the MCDU. How easy is that? Jane Boss, thanks for the follow. I think I'm actually using the TCA preset to make it work. Interesting. Something I might need to do. Oh, Lauren accidentally deleted a message. Let me see what that deleted message was. From our friend who I'm so sorry, I don't know how to pronounce the name, but the question is, the 320 is actually a super easy airplane to learn, but I'm guessing the hard part is in real life when you have to learn all the safety and emergency procedures. Exactly. It's fine that I can get this airplane going now, but it doesn't mean I have a clue how to fly it in the many different scenarios: flat failures, hydraulic failures, engine failures, and so on. So it's a good point. And when you're trained to be a pilot, a lot of your time is spent with failures. It's very rare to sit in a simulator and do a normal flight. I think you only do that once in the whole time. What frequency are you tuned to? I don't know, actually. I haven't used... This is not working with my Logitech panel. There's something going on there. I don't know what. I am on 1228, though. There we go. Good. Right, so performance is done. 142 was on the course, but we're just going to leave that to auto-tune. Got the constraints on here. Stopping at 7,000 feet. We'll just put the runway heading Ignore me, it's the other way. So we'll just put about something 140. Absolutely pointless. I suppose you could just click the heading bug, because in this one you can center it just by clicking on it. 140 something. And we've got the bank angle limiter to norm, because otherwise it won't fly around those departures properly. We have constraints on the other side, not too worried about the rest. Flight directors can be on in the heading vertical speed, and I'm going to arm nav mode and profile mode. So P climb and nav, that's what we're going to want. The rest looks good. We got V1, V2, we got man thrust at FD1, stopping at 7,000. QNH 1017, so let's set that now, which I've synchronized to all of them, which I think is definitely the way to do it. Thanks for these subscriptions to Tex and Gerard. Again, I'm so sorry when I miss the chat. It just suddenly it all jumps at once. I don't know why it's going on. Victor Tango says tried on the... No, that's right. I saw the message though, so no problem there. Amiyushki says, are you using the Thrustmaster TCA? Maybe it's finally time to get throttle. I'm using Thrustmaster TCA. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Good. Right, where were we? EFIS we've set. We're going to leave it in nav. You could also tune VOR, or set it to VOR ILS mode. We've done the FCU speeds. Oxygen mask, GWS, MD, standby, PFD. Yeah, but it's all good. Altimeters, clock, standby altimeter, horizon. Brake anti-skid needs to be in the norm on position. Interestingly, this is 3 positions. 320 only has 2 on and off, but there we go. Engine instruments look good. We have oil quantity is overdone. There's a bit of a problem. If you have your oil quantity over the stops like that, you actually there's a slight risk of it leaking out into the bleeds. It's not completely ideal, but there we go. Engine page also shows us some more, so all looking good. Landing elevation, Gatwick is just above sea level. Just put 100 feet in there. Might be a bit higher, we'll check it on the way. We've done the thrust rating panel. Total air temperature of 18 degrees is correct, so it makes sense. Thrust limiting bugs. We can also set those. So, was that automatically set? Yes, they automatically set. So, 59 sets the thrust limit bugs. Does GPWS test button work? When I press it, it lights up for a second, nothing happens. So, turn on the terrain. GPWS test. Ooh, where was that? We're going to go in the cruise. See what happens. Radios are tuned 1228. ADF we're not going to use. Rudder is centered and 0. Turn on the lights. Transponder is on 2000 stood by. That's absolutely fine. And yeah, that's all good. Great. So we're almost ready to go. Trim will do after we start up the engines because it needs hydraulic power. Right. I think we're almost ready to go. Oh yes, fuel. We need to, of course, check our fuel. And then it's on to the checklists. Right, so thank you again to Dano Virtual for that excellent startup procedure. We have our checklist ready to go. Let's sort out the ground. Thanks so much, Kelpie, for the $20 donation. Really appreciate it, Kelpie. Big supporter of the channel. We'll just close all the doors. And let's get rid of that GPU now. So we don't need to shed the galley. Available for the APU. APU generator. Watch out if it's in the opposition. You want it in on. And there we go. So that's now available. And I think we're in a good place. The only white lights now are those pitos. I suppose we can turn them on now. Window heats and pitos. There we go. Good. So, Kelpie, thanks so much. $20 super chat. Really appreciate it. Kelpie supported on a huge amount. That's very kind. Big stream, says Kelpie. Indeed it is, yeah. It's a big day. It's, yeah, just fantastic. What a machine. What a nice thing. What a nice treat to receive. Get rid of the GPU. And prepare for pushback and departure. I'm going to press that. I wonder what happens. I've not used that yet. I was really hoping something would happen. Sadly not. Did you cage the HSI? Says I'm Dimitri. Oh, great point. You'd need to... Okay. It doesn't let me. Must be automatic. Interesting. The more modern ones on the 320 do automatically cage themselves or align themselves, but this one, I would have thought, yeah, we need to cage. It doesn't look like it's modelled for now. Good. Right, let's run the checklist then, and then we'll figure out how we're going to go backwards. We'll make it happen somehow. Good, so checklist is... Oh yeah, by the way, fuel. We wanted just over 15 tons of fuel. A few places to see it. 15.1 on there. I'm going to go to the fuel page on here, and it will tell me where it is. So it looks balanced. It's all in the right place. Inner tanks, out a bit in the outer tanks, nothing in the ACT center or trim tank. Should do that automatically if there's enough fuel to do it. With regards to the trimming, we've got another panel up here that shows us there's a level warning, and then we've got the outer and inner So outer and inner all transferred across. Place a down arrow and then left right directional arrow. Okay, great. We'll try that in a sec. Force checks, cockpit prep completed, signs on auto, fuel 15.1, navigation check set, landing elevation set, altimeters are set, brake anti-skid Norman on. Good, let's go then. It's only taken us an hour to get here, so they are definitely back. Windows are closed. Let's do a little flow. So we'll put the transponder to transponder and we'll put the beacon to on. So that tells the people outside we're about to start engines. Below line, windows doors closed, beacon on, parking brake is on. That's before start, checks complete. Next is after start. It's a super straightforward starting procedure on this aircraft. Let me just make sure I get the numbers right. %, N2 is when we'll put the fuel. Good, okay. So, let's announce it to everyone here. Toulouse traffic, Manta 222 pushing back from the Airbus apron. And we're going to face up there. Let's see if we can make that happen. So, I'm going to
Toulouse traffic, Airbus 115,
release the parking brake.
Airbus 8 face north on Zulu 1 Toulouse.
There we go, that's a more professional call than I managed. Actually saying what they're doing. Would it just do something? Active. Ah, yes. Great news, great news, great news. Thank you very much, Max. If you press backwards and it doesn't start to move, hit the left or right button. Okay, thank you. Yeah, Reezy Mac, yeah, I've had trouble with the throttles. There is a fix on the way, I believe. Now, here's a question. Do we get... Oh, that's off we go. We'll run the clock. I would like a cabin wing view, but there aren't any good ones included. Yes, there is. But no, why is it facing over there? Why would you want that? I don't understand why they did that. Very strange. Beautiful, beautiful aeroplane. And that's the view we get. Right, can we turn? Yeah, synchronized pushback. Let's start up the engines then. ActiveLow says, not sure what happens if you don't preselect next phase speed. Maybe it just goes to manage climb speed after Excel. Ah, yes, so I've been wondering about this. There's a preselect of the next speed. If you push this in, it goes preset. But I don't know what it achieves. I haven't worked that one out. That's on my list of things to figure out. I wonder if Matteo knows. When would you use that preset function? Should I be using it now? Straight and stop. Set the brake. They're going to disappear. Let's start up the engines. So throttles are idle. We're going to select ignition system. I'll go with ignition system A. So you just scroll it to A. And then we're going to start engine 2 first. So starting engine 2, we push the starter. The arm light's on, so it goes to open. And then we go down here and we'll see N2 increasing, which is good news. We've got bleed pressure. Let me get rid of that engine pay. Oh no, it does it automatically. Okay, so yeah, bleed pressure's down here. So N2 above 15%. We've got some level of oil pressure. And now I can turn on the fuel valve. Number 2. By the way, that works straight away. Fuel's going in, a fuel flow indication, and then an EGT rise is what we're looking for. Set your first speed constraint. Okay. Thanks, Creepy Kirk. Okay, everyone seems to think that. So in that case, I can go preset and scroll it to 250. So this, otherwise it won't. So that's interesting. That is the first speed we want to fly. Although we're going to fly around that turn, we can go clean at 230, so I'll do that. And if I look here, it still says 161, so that's good news. So it's pre-selected. It's not actually the speed we're targeting, it's the next speed. Good, that engine started well. N2's increased nicely, and the starter has disengaged, so let's start engine number 1. Push that. It's quite quick to start these engines. Not too bad. Quicker than the 320. A and B, yeah, 2 different systems back up of each other, exactly. On the 320, it automatically alternates between system A and B. So again, you don't have to select it. The classic 320s made it even simpler. It's utter genius. Sean says, anyone know why my autopilot slows down to a stall? Well, that could be it. Need to pre-select the next speed, yeah. So 25%. Master 1. Not my best pushback, but also, sadly, not my worst. You could bug up as well, Lauren. Yeah, that's what I was doing previously. I was winding the speed to the next speed in flight, like you would in a 7.3. But come on, this is an Airbus. We don't have to do things like a 7.3. Even back when the 310 was made, they had a better system ready. I'm going to get in trouble for saying that. Right, that's good. Slight over acceleration, and then it will stabilise back down. EGT dropping, and the arm light is back on. So that's all good news. So, ignition system off, APU bleed off, we're not using that, and we've got the generators on. I'm going to check, we do. Again, automatic, not like 7.3. APU master going off, engine anti-ice we do not need. Arm the ground spoilers, we're going to go with flaps 15 and 0, so the first stage, effectively flaps 1, centre the rudder trim if you do have any on, and let me just check what else I might have missed. Pitch trim. We need 1.6 up. Hidden slightly. They improved this. 1 up, 1.6 up. It's about there. Quite a forward CG today. Aileron trimmed and pitch trim are all set then. Doors are all good. Ground crew's disconnected. I hope. Yeah. So we'll run the outside checklists. Pitch trim set, rudder trim 0, spoilers are armed, slats 15 and 0, let's just check, 15 and 0. Ecam status checked, anti-ice off, and hand signal received after checks complete.
Taxiing runway 14 left, Toulouse.
Toulouse traffic, Manta 222 taxiing 14 right. Okay. Taxi slide on. Runway turn off lights on. Let's go. Switch them. Automod thinks flight plan is a square for some reason. Oh, that's strange. I think you can modify that normally, I think. Mateos, thank you. Mateo says you have to wind the speed knob manually. The preselected avoid that. So the preselected should be 250 or initial climb speed. Okay, great. Thanks so much, Mateo. There we go. So we agreed that our clean speed is 222, so we can go there. Oh, okay. Initialize Costinex. What does that mean? Haven't seen that before. So no, not going to get too upset. Lots of traffic out there. Brakes released. Let's go. Thanks, Andy, for the follow. Thanks again to Kelpie for the very kind donation. Real Sim Pilot. The plane now thinks your V2 is 230. No, it shouldn't do. I don't need to set it back, do I? I'll leave it there with preset because I can see 161 here. Remember, with all these aircraft with little displays up here, you do need to look on the actual top. The PFD is where it will tell you the real information. So 161 is still there. So I believe that's correct. I could be wrong though. Ah, thanks, RB. Thank you. Yeah, it's Stranger Things that. Yeah, we're heavy. It's taking a bit of oomph to get going. I love this modelling on the front of the fuselage. That's great. Sido, yep, this aircraft is now freeware. Let's do a brake check. Yep, that's all good. And let's do a flight controls check. I don't think it's automatic on this aircraft, no. So we have to actually go to the flight control page. There it is. But let's just make sure we taxi the right way first. Yeah, we're going to follow our colleague up there. Let's go on the main taxiway and then do our check. The A310 does not have the different laws, no. It does have some basic protections, including like an alpha floor protection. We can have a look at it as we go, but it does not have things like, it does not have roll protection. You can roll this airplane over, you know. I don't think it has G protection either, so it does not fly like a normal law aircraft. It has normal trim and so on. Normal. Right, flight controls, so full right, full left, neutral, full up, full down, neutral, full left and full right. Now, interestingly, this is one of those weird aircraft yokes that doesn't go very far. That is full deflection. Very small. I wonder why that is. I know some airplanes are like this. It's like a geared yoke, but very strange. You'll also see there's no outboard aileron. This part of the wing doesn't do anything. Just roll spoilers and inboard ailerons. Very strange design. And interestingly, they got rid of that. They decided on the 330 to go for only outboard ailerons and forget the inboard ones. So they did have some changes of heart, Airbus, in between all these aircraft. Thanks, Derek, for the subscription. Leave it on pre-stated. Thanks, Matteo. What else was I going to say? Let's go to the flight control page. So yeah, inboard ailerons. Oh, no, inboard ailerons only. I had something related to that, I'm sure. I don't remember what it was though. Anyway, let's go for our checklist.
Traffic Airbus 1 on Tango taking off.
4 takeoff checks, flight controls are checked, briefing confirmed. Oh no, hold on, let's go through our flow. So, TCAS to TRA, auto brake to max in case of an RTO. Weather radar I'll leave off, it's a beautiful day. So, 4 takeoff checks, flight controls checked, briefing confirmed. Stats flaps are 15 and 0. Performance FMAs we've checked and we've got 156, 161. VS and heading with profile climb and nav blue, 7000 blue, FD1. Transponder is set. Cabin is secure. TCAS TRA. Packs are on. Ignition not. Well, we'll leave it in norm. Anti-ice is off. That's before takeoff checks complete. We are ready to go. So we can go from Sierra 10 onwards. That's Sierra 8. So we're going to go a bit further. We are quite heavy, so I do want to have all that runway. Azza says, I love the way the engines scream and howl. Fantastic sounds. Yes, very good sounds. And Dimitri says, I was told by an A310 captain that for some reason or other they used to set the radio out to -5. Ah, yes, I have heard that before. On the DH. Is that all the time? Would you leave it like that? Why not, I suppose? There could be some weird change in the backup system, or maybe it's to prevent an accidental flare arm, or maybe it's to prevent I don't know. Chaos says, was about to think I would miss the takeoff. Should have guessed that you were still on the ground and now in. Yeah, no worries there. No worries there. Airbus in pilot says, go to the init page, check your cost of X. Yeah. It says 0. I might change that once we're going. Depending if I think we need more. Need to be a bit quicker. Chunky aeroplane. By the way, I don't like this camera of Microsoft Flight Simulator. I don't like the fact the airplane's right at the bottom of the screen. Why is it done like that? It's very strange to me. Right, Sierra 10. Yep, actually signposted for once, so we'll go and hold here. Abby Learns to Fly says, taxiing is one of my favourite things to do. It feels more immersive than flying. Taxiing the real aircraft is great fun. Mr. Banana says, they stuck with the aileron design. The A380 also only has outboard. Yeah, it does indeed. It does indeed. I do not have the flight beam scenery max light. I thought about it, but I went without it in the end. I did think about it. It does have wipers, Captain Roger. We shall see those later. Any more questions? Let's see. Oh, there we go. -5 set, just an indication. Maybe, yeah. I'm sure there's a good reason for it. Cotton Cuddle says, Simpilot, I really want to learn the A310 as I love the Phoenix A320 so much that I want to respect and learn this Airbus aircraft too. It just looks daunting. It's not daunting. It's very similar. A lot of buttons. Please do watch my cockpit familiarization and then my full flight guide. It's basically a quick start guide where I don't go into too much detail, and it should cover what you need. Well, roughly what you need, although I'm learning things today. No surprise. I didn't know everything. Toulouse traffic. Manta 222 lining up. Runway 14 right. Sierra 10. Right, there's no one on approach, so we're going to line up and then see what that other traffic is doing. Nose to take off, landing lights on, and we'll put the strobe lights on. I'm using a side stick for this one. Mr. Banana says, a 2-hour quick start guide, mind you. Indeed, I know I know it's long, but as I said, I think someone commented that, and I said that time moves differently on this channel. For me, a full flight video that covers the cockpit, the takeoff, cruise, descent prep, approach, landing, to be an hour is unheard of. Unheard of. Love the sounds there. Oh. So there's traffic over there. So we won't depart at exactly the same time. Ah, yes. What I've totally missed is the takeoff config. So, down here, press, and it says config takeoff test normal. By the way, these sun visors work. It's quite nice. Nose steering is a little bit responsive on the rudder axes, but you know, I should have it on a separate axis, so I shouldn't whinge too much. So that traffic has departed, I think, has it? What's going on over there? No. So they line up before us. We'll let them go and then we'll go, I think, unless they are in the chat. Tim Manu K says, thank you very much for your YouTube videos. You've literally saved me from lots of pain and frustrations with the Phoenix 320. Now feeling competent with it. Excellent. Thank you so much. Glad to hear it. Thanks for coming along and saying so. Brian says, I think the view outside is for visibility to see people to see where they're going. Yes, you're absolutely right. If someone's flying the aircraft from outside and behind, that would explain it. To me, I just want to look at the airplane close up. Okay, they might not be going Toulouse traffic, Manta 222, taking off runway 14 right on a Lacau departure right turnout. Fine, let's go. So, for this, everything's ready to go. We're going to spool up 40%, half the yoke, or bit of yoke pressure down on the nose gear. So let's go 40% on the M1s. And then I'm going to press this button, which will effectively be the go levers, and the auto thrust will run the engines to 96%. So 40%. Brakes released. Run the engines. There's thrust mode. And now there is 96%. Their thrust is set. They are quite slow to spool up. 80 to 100, stick to neutral. Oh, it's very sensitive. It's a shame about the axes. At the higher speeds, it's fine. There we go. We're going to use a lot of runway here. We have no flaps out, remember, just slats, which is quite unusual for a big aircraft like this. But V1, rotate. Keep pulling, through to 15, and then with the SRS, positive climb, gear up. And you can see it's in thrust, SRS, and nav, so nav engaged correctly, that's good news. It's a powerful beast. Especially when it doesn't have much fuel in, because we are quite light for a 310 really. Now it's still not drawn the correct map display, so we shall see what happens. I'm expecting a right turn. That's the trim warning when I'm running the trim too much. I think this airplane handles really nicely, by the way. From my time with it so far, it does feel like a heavy airliner. They've got the inertia right. Profile climb, profile thrusts. So it's automatically gone into auto mode and climb thrust limit and reduced the M1 to 95.6. So we're climbing straight ahead to 8D, remember? We're about 60 at the moment. So let me put in AP. That's a big sim freeze there. AP1, so it says command 1. Once we're above the S, we can go to 0. So if it was above the F, we'd go to our slats position. Now we're above the slats position, we can bring in the slats. It's accelerating to 250 thanks to that preset. Thank you for that. But I had it armed in profile climb, so shouldn't it automatically go to that anyway? It's blanked it out, you see. Wouldn't it have automatically gone to the profile climb speed of 250? The managed speed, as it were. It's not doing a very good job of it, though. Come on, nose over. Nose down, airplane. Oh, should I be on 135? No, I think we're still on Toulouse traffic. Right, there's speed accelerating, flaps to 0. Disarm the ground spoilers. Get rid of the nose gear lights. Beautiful. So we've gone through the 8 miles, you can see, so it is turning right. That's good news. If I go to the flight plan page, I should see the correct waypoint. So that's Toulouse coming up. It is slow though. It's not really accelerating. It'll put you above 2.0. Okay, thank you. Thanks very much. Tactical mode is used for adjusting the descent and the climb. We'll look at that in a second. 1,000 feet to go. Interesting, it doesn't seem to have a star mode. Yeah, go profile speed, profile climb. It should level off at 7. It does not obey altitude constraints in the climb. And that refers more to level offs than it refers to minimums. So these are all minimums, so it's not an issue, but there you go. So yeah, no warning that it's going into star mode. It just sort of levels off at 7. Also interesting that this little altimeter tape is set up like this. Just the number floating in space just like meets you. Quite strange. Thor KH says, pardon the delay, I haven't done my flight controls properly. No problem at all. No problem at all. Nice to have these videos broken into parts. Anyway, fair enough, yeah. Airbus Sim asks, it says M80 on the sim brief speed. That's because it's Mach decimal 8 for the cruise. It's that's what it's trying to tell you there. Where's the vertical speed indicator? It's over here with our TCAS display. 6 nautical mile range, and it's -44. So that's traffic below us. That's down on going on to approach, I suppose. That's the southwest down there. I think it's really cool that we take off without flaps. I like that. And yeah, this is the button that is effectively the go levers. I don't actually know where the go levers are on the real aircraft. I assume they're these little things. Well, they're those maybe? But yeah, I think they're on the thrust levers in the real aircraft. But they're in X-Plane, they were you used to click the little screw here to make them activate. So on here, they put it to that button. There are plenty of liveries, Cotton Cuddle. Yeah, if you go to the INI Manager, it took me a while to find those. I had to get some help. So Toulouse VOR up ahead, and then we're doing a left turn. Right. Let's see. So after takeoff, climb check. Slats flaps are retracted, 0 and 0. Landing gear up, and now it needs to go to neutral. Luckily, they got rid of that. That is the southwest. Oh, that's cool. You don't often hear southwest over here, especially 737. That's great. Right, so up and off. Packs are both on, and the altimeters, they should go to standards. Oh, I've made an error here. Yeah, it was climb flight was 70, and we're at 7,000 feet. Something the 320 would have warned us about. Sadly, has not been warned of here. That was a standard. We should have gone standards. But what we're going to do is go up to our cruise of 360. Rocket up into Eurocontrol's airspace. So 360, and now I want it to carry on in profile mode. So I'm going to pull profile thrust, profile climb. It'll accelerate the engines to their new climb rating of 99.7, and it should carry on at 250. And then I'm hoping that 250 would increase at 10,000 feet automatically. We shall see. RME says, make sure you have the INI Manager V2 installed and the sim directory correct in settings. Yeah, indeed. That does work nicely. Just zoom out on the range there. After takeoff climb checks. So yeah, now altimeters. Let's not forget it again. You pull that standard, and I've got them synchronized. So 1013 and standard. So now we're going to flight level 360. Does that change? Yes, it does. Look at that. Unlike the Boeings, even on this airplane, they had it set to change depending on standard or QNH to flight level or altimeter. That's just great. Heading mode's pointing the wrong way now. Completely pointless. Don't know why this exists, but all you have to do on the Airbus, click it forwards and it synchronizes. And then for the 320, they got rid of it because it's pointless. Map and arc, says Alan Eva, what's the difference? I believe map is called on arc on the 320. No, map and arc are slightly different. Oh, no, hold on. That's a good point. Arc looks like a simplified version of the VOR display. Now, I couldn't tell you the exact difference. Nope, I don't know. Yeah, good spot. Very good spot. Wei Lee says, in the 320, is the TCAS integrated with the autopilot? Because I've seen a few FMAs that say TCAS. Indeed, they are. If you're using the fly-by-wire, it's automated. It's not all A320s like that. There you go. Profile climb speed has now increased automatically to the climb speed. Pretty fast, so over 300 knots. So I've seen a few FMAs that say TCAS. Does the A310 have similar systems, or do you have to disengage? No, the A310 does not have the automatic TCAS, unless they've retrofitted it, which is entirely possible, but I'd be surprised, frankly. Alright, 10,000 feet. Lights off, retract. We haven't got any passengers, but the Manta Airlines executive sitting in the back enjoying their new airplane can now walk around and use the toilets. I'm going to go to airport page on here. I'm going to check that the fuel used is sensible. So we've used about 1.6 and a bit tons, added on to 13.4. That works out about 15. So that's a good idea that the fuel is working well. And we didn't auto-tune anything on the progress page. Great. If we get on here, I'm curious if the fuel system's going to do any trimming. We shall see. I don't think we have enough fuel in it for it to bother. Sean says, I don't understand the A310 cost base either. It's pretty... yeah, the reason it says M8 is because it's assuming a cruise at decimal 8. We're actually cruising at decimal 7.7. So that means I could increase the cost in X. Decimal 7.8. Decimal 7.9. That's closer to the original plan. Pretty high cost in X. And it means our climb speed's even higher. But yeah, so that's what it's saying. I think IniSimulations have released a specific SimBrief profile for the A310 if you'd like to use that, which may produce actual cost in X's. I imagine the initial version, this is perhaps a slightly retrofitted version. Because of course the initial A300 it didn't have a screen, it would have had an IRS down here. This is actually a more advanced version of the A300 in that sense, that we got all these nice screens and everything. Tucson says, if you wanted to climb to flight level 360 in profile mode at selected speed, use tact. No, so now I can pull the speeds and it just reverts to thrust and speed without arms. And now it will revert to that new speed, and then I can press profile. But what you're doing there, by pulling it, is going into level change, basically. So if you want to adjust the speed, you can go to level change. If you want to leave it all managed, profile climb, profile thrust, indeed, if you go to tactical, they got rid of the tact page, that's why it's confusing, but you can go in here and we can do a max climb, and it will actually bring the speed right back to what is effectively your minimum clean speed. Now this is identical in many ways to the expedite button up here that we have on the 320. So yeah, so that's all that does. But that's stupid. We don't want to decelerate all that way. So I'm just going to put it back to econ and leave it in profile mode. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I've upped the cost in X-Thor, but unfortunately that means you're going to catch me now because I've just raised the nose a lot. We've outclimbed you probably, but Bernard says, so my cost in X now is just for Thor who's flying along. The cost in X 50. Bernard, good to see you. Bernard says, regarding the top left button you pressed at the start of the takeoff roll, what is its functionality in reality and why isn't it modelled as is? Great question. So I use this button. This is the go levers button. You can see it actually says ATC message. ATC message, very faintly. That is a CPDLC button. Now where CPDLC fits into the 310, I don't know. On the 320, it's that little screen here above the MCDUs. Probably, well, I don't know actually. I can't even see where they've integrated it, if at all. But anyway, what you do is, if you get a message from air traffic control on the CPDLC system, this light flashes straight away to advise you to go and look at it. And after a few seconds of that flashing, it will actually beep at you, make an audible noise so you know to check it. So that's what that is. You can press it to cancel that warning. Although most people don't bother because that flashes, and what you actually do is just go to you can just go straight to it and answer it, and that will get rid of the flash. So instead of pressing that and then answering it, you can just answer it and not bother pressing that. That's what it's for. Eurocontroller here, excellent. 135, 125. A little disappointed my Logitech panel isn't working.
control, bonjour, scope 0605.
0605, okay, let's see, Delta Charlie.
What happened there?
Okay, 1815.
we're going Charlie.
Flight level 360.
Descent flight level 360, walk 1815.
Eurocontrol, Manta 222, climbing flight level 360 to Charlie.
Station calling Eurocontrol, bonjour, what is your call sign?
Manta 222.
Manta 222, Eurocontrol, bonjour, scope 0375.
Thank you, Squawk 0375, Manta 222. Right, Squawk 03. Oh, let's get the other way. 75, there we go.
360.
Lauren V says, Flight Dr. Sim is going to take offense to the use of this heading by comment. Yes. Yeah.
Direct rev 2, climb flight level 360.
Flight level 360 and direct to Rev 2, Manta 222. Merci. So, right, 360 we're going to already. 30 blue. And I can go to directs. Scroll, scroll, scroll. This is exactly the same as we're used to. Rev 2. And except the insert's in a different place. Insert.
Hello, Range Radar, inbound Flowman, flight level 2525.
So, Rev 2 nav. 320 miles away. That is quite a good direct. FS Flight Productions. Good to see you. FS Flight says CPDLC for the 310 is a separate panel that is not fitted on the Microsoft Flight Simulator. It replaces the radios like the second FMS style unit. Ah, so down here, which is what they have in the updated versions of the Beluga in X-Plane 11. Interestingly, okay, right. So that's where it would be. So, but that's where that little button's there, I suppose.
6185 identified. Climb flight level 340.
Climb flight level 340, 105.
FS Flight Productions, by the way, I've enjoyed many of your music videos in Flight Simulator over the years, so thank you for those. Some really great, well, lots of really great ones. So great to see you here. FS Flight Productions, I believe is a 320 pilot now, but yeah, previously made some excellent music videos. I occasionally have done a couple on this channel, just for my own amusement, not to the same standard at all. Stormcoach says, sounds of the dread, you cruising and then beep beep beep. Indeed, yes, the beep of the CPDLC. Nothing worse than if your colleague is trying to get some rest. A lot of questions about Mac number here, which is probably going to come our way because there's a queue of us heading out towards Gatwick. Kelpie says, I wonder if anyone will fly the Microsoft Spirit of St. Louis bush trip. I'm not up to sitting at a desk for 34 plus hours. Is it a bush trip across the Atlantic? That's brilliant. I didn't know that. I did see some excellent FSX legacy missions, so I'm hoping to do a Twitch stream. It probably won't be tomorrow, but soon, where I can
unfortunately, I'm going to have to jump off the network, so
just enjoy those missions. Because I would love to relive the Sitka approach. Iglu says, have a good flight. 320 pilot. I'll watch it on replay on YouTube. Going to watch the Grand Prix. Enjoy the Grand Prix. Thank you, Iglu. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, this was the old problem of Sunday streams. Now that Formula 1's every weekend, pretty much, I'm always clashing with it. Okay, TAT out of icing range. Message is gone. That's good. It's cold enough now. I'm surprised though, because -14 is. We would still use the anti-ice. It's just not the main icing conditions, I suppose. Oh no, sorry. No, the SAT's -45. It's just because we're going so fast. The TAT is so high. -14 compared to -45. Pretty good going. See you, Lufoo.
Swiss 25 inbound Torpa. Is it possible to be away from the cockpit?
Iceberg says, I'm so lucky my F1 is the sim. There you go.
For many minutes.
Probably around 10, Swiss 25. I will be back at Rotterdam.
185, Roger, report back.
I report
Indeed,
back,
Dante, the, yeah,
Thank
that
you
little
very
goalie, but I don't know which one it is, but it's very common in flight simulators not to model the toga buttons because they're often hidden, and the A320 doesn't have them, luckily. Shiwai Lee says the AP panel looks more like a Boeing. It looks like a Boeing more than a modern Airbus. Indeed, yeah.
1 Alpha Kilo, direct Lusa.
Oh, and here's a message from FS Flight earlier, just a bit behind, but set the nav selector to VOR,
Direct Aneto.
which is here. And then go to ARC. There we go. Okay, thank you, FS Flight. It's a heading up VOR display. So it's another way to see the VOR. Oh, that wasn't us.
Control west, Southwest 12 direct, climbing to flight level 34.
Yeah, so the ARC is not a map function. It's a VOR function. There we go. We'll put it back to nav.
Fucking 0642, Southwest.
Or I assume it would work as an ILS as well. Yeah, heading up ILS. Now that's a bit strange, but I can see how it would sort of work. Heading up style. Yeah, okay. Yeah, interesting. It doesn't really matter if you have nav or not here because, of course, this page will always show you the nav. FS Flight is indeed flying the 320 now. There you go. Thanks, FS Flight. Thanks for joining us. Bernard says, presumably there is some other method of activating Toga Flex which doesn't involve pressing the CPDLC button, though. So what I meant to ask is, how is it done in reality? Ah, there we go. 1,000 feet to go. But indeed, that would be done with a little button, so a hardware. What the actual key assignment is in Flight Simulator, I do not know. Sorry. It took me ages to find that little button. I was sitting on the ground going, how can I make it activate? I was clicking everything on the FCU. Oh, so sorry. Fabio Arigioni. I need to replay that one. Fabio Arigioni, thank you for the €5 super chat. Really very, very, very kind. I'm so sorry I missed it. Fabio's kindly supported us before on the channel. Really appreciate it. And sorry I missed that one. Thank you so much. Really, really kind. And I hope you're doing very well. And thank you for joining us. And thanks for supporting the channel over the last few months. Really appreciate it. Glad you're enjoying the video. So sorry for missing that. Right, there we go. 30,000 feet. Profile speed. Profile out. It's going to be doing... We are pretty fast. So a decimal 80. Quite a high clean speed. Yeah. We are zooming along. Bernard says, the only mission I remember from FSX was an air ambulance mission in Alaska. Yeah, there's some great ones. FSX had loads. Well, I liked them, but there's probably just nostalgia. Stormcoach says, do you have any tips on how to prevent bouncing during the landing? I haven't had too much trouble. Just make sure you are back at the right VAP, which you need to set properly on there. Flare about 30 feet, and just a small flare. It doesn't need to be too much. It's quite a short aeroplane. It's quite a big wing, really, for this size of aeroplane. It's a bit like an A319. Though originally it is a smaller wing than the 300, so they did shrink the wing, whereas the 319 is exactly the same as the 320 in terms of size. Iceberg says it's the same button as the MD-82, the round one's at the back of the throttle. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what I'm looking at. Dougal Matavish, good to see you. Dougal says hello and chats. Sorry I had to miss this one. No problem at all, Dougal. Good to see you here. As you can tell, we haven't made much progress. Oh, we're crossing traffic. That's cool. Yeah, we're overspeeding. That's a weather change in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Master warning. Yeah, we acknowledge. Engines are finally spawning back. I'm not going to put speed brakes out because by the time I do and the engines are spooled back, we'll get a low speed event instead. So there we go, back under control. That's just a simulator. Extreme turbulence. So controllers do give out crossing traffic notifications like that, by the way. They'll say, yeah, you've got traffic crossing 1,000 above. I'm not entirely sure why. I suppose for wake turbulence. It's not often we do much about it, but can't quite see the wing. Seems like quite a big flight deck, although I would say it looks much bigger than the 320s. Yeah, jump seat there. We have a wardrobe here in the 320. Patrick says, I enjoy F1, but Patrick Bateman says, I enjoy F1, but I'm not playing the insane sky rates. I'd rather watch you. Thank you very much, Patrick. Really appreciate it. Zelensky says, no side stick on the 310. Indeed not. No, we just get a proper yoke. Absolutely pointless for most of the flight. I'm glad it's not in the 320. Pascal says, for your tuning panels work, you need to enable the IniSim avionics, different avionics, by pressing the page up key on your keyboard. Ah, yes, yes, yes. Oh, interestingly, the button I thought was assigned to my avionics master seems to actually be assigned to my landing gear lever. This is a risky game I'm playing now. I do have an avionics master button assigned to my joystick. Yeah, not that one. I'm going to stop playing that game now. That is just button roulette with my joystick. I've got so many profiles now. It's my absolute feature from X-Plane 11 or 12 is one of the best features is the profile, where it knows which aircraft you're flying and it automatically assigns that control profile. Why doesn't Microsoft Flight Simulator have that yet? Surely that can't be that hard to implement. That would be amazing. So anyway, as a result, I really can't remember which key I've assigned it to, and every press takes us closer to something going seriously wrong. Kelpie says, is it me or is there barely any vacuum controllers on the west coast of USA? Every time I'm on there, none on. Ah, interesting, Kelpie. I don't know why.
Aerocontrol, KLM907 with you on flight level 350. KLM907, Euro control, bonjour, identity.
Sleps, it sort of reminds me of 737. Yeah, it's got that, some aspects to that. I would say you can definitely feel the divergence from Boeing here. Remember, this was their big statement, because it's effectively the same as a 300 in many ways, and this is the Airbus coming along and saying, we don't think Boeing are doing everything right, we're going to do it better. So, and not to say that they actually think that, but in terms of, you know, you're selling a competing product, so you're obviously trying to suggest you're doing something a bit better. So yeah, this is where we start to get this profile mode. Interestingly, this airplane will descend on its own at the top of the descent like the 73, so they actually diverged even further by the Airbus time for sure. FS Flight says those things at the back of the thrust lever are actually a holdover from the A300 Classic. It was put in place for the flight engineer to move, but no longer around the 310. Ah, very good. There you go. So these are just other little. So I think these are the go levers. These little things here. That's one of my guesses in the middle, somewhere where your hands can get to, but not accidentally knock them. Whereas this will be for the engineer, like Concorde had, so that the engineer can lean forward and do them. In some aircraft, like the VC-10, the flight engineer actually had their own throttles. Is it the VC-10 I'm thinking of? I think it was a VC-10. Throttles up there, pretty cool. As you release, as kindly super chatted 5 SGD. Oh, sorry, I don't know that currency, but SGD. Thank you so much. Hello, I have a hard name to pronounce. Just call me Dennis. Okay, I'll try and remember that, Dennis. Thank you. Anyway, nice videos, lovely tutorials. You're an awesome dude. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you for the very kind donation. I really appreciate it, Dennis. It's very kind of you. And thanks for coming along and supporting the channel. Really kind. I'm glad you enjoyed the video. The Microsoft Flight Simulator keybind system is a dog's breakfast. Agreed, Bernard. Yeah, I have endless trouble with it. I find it so laggy to try and change things as well. Now, it's good that it works. It is powerful and it does work. So, you know, once you get used to it, but it is still slow. Mike V, thanks for subscribing.
4314, contact Madrid 132.975. Bye-bye.
FS Flight says the wing on the A310 is a strange one, as they changed just about everything about it from the A300.
Sky Travel 4314, contact Madrid 132.975. Bye-bye. Madrid 132.
Aerofoil type, sweep camber, chord, etc. is not the same. MMO on the 310 is 8.4 versus 8.1 on the 800. There you go. Yeah, that is interesting. I knew it was a bit smaller. I didn't realise they changed quite so much about it. It is a big wing though. Still a big wing for the airplane. Wings are always interesting because they are such a big driver of an airplane's efficiency and performance. You know, the wing is the magic, isn't it? It's like the aerodynamics in F1. It's what makes the plane work or not. And it's not just, oh, we need wings, okay, put some wings on. A lot of effort goes into, of course, designing them. They need to be able to provide enough lift at low speed that the airplanes can get into shorter runways, i.e. customers will buy it because it will reach the runways they want it to. So the shorter the runway it can use, the better, the more people can buy the airplane. But of course, the more lift it produces, then the slower it will be. So if you're trying to fly in the cruise at Mach 8.4, it's not so good. So they're clever bits of design. They're very, very, very carefully put together. And even the 320 wing is not so advanced anymore. The 380 wing is far more advanced than the 320 wing. You know, it's a very clever design. That's a huge, great wing that generates massive amounts of lift that allows the 380 to fly an approach at a similar speed to a 320. It's absolutely incredible. And it does that all without having to have triple slotted flaps or any of this nonsense. It's very straightforward, very simple on the outside. It's not obviously on the inside. And then it can also cruise at high speed, you know, and it's efficient the whole time. It's very clever stuff. Mike B says, love your channel 320, enjoy Microsoft Flight Simulator streams daily. Once I get a better PC, going to switch from X-Plane 11 now that Microsoft is slowly becoming a proper sim. There you go, Mike. Thanks so much. Really appreciate it. Thanks for coming along. And yeah, X-Plane 11 I struggle to use now. X-Plane 12 I like a lot. But yeah, Microsoft Flight Simulator is just absolutely beautiful. There's no doubt about it. It's a stunning sim. But X-Plane 11, I've definitely moved on from 11 to 12. So yeah, hopefully you get your computer soon. Objectively, Airbus does it better, but there is charm to the Boeing cockpits that make them fun for pilots as well. Yeah, there is a charm, especially having all those switches that you get to control. But I would say on a long day or in challenging conditions, I'd like to have an Airbus. Electric Soldier says, looking forward to the fly-by-wire. Indeed, me too. A380, yeah, absolutely. Mr. Banana says, and the 380 wing was also designed for the even larger 900, which never came to be. I know, what a shame. I think a 900 380 would have been absolutely gorgeous. Where it would have fit, though, in terms of parking stands and taxiways, I do not know. That's a shame. I think it's all working still.
Ryanair 8 Kilo Whiskey, Eurocontrol, bonjour, identified. Confirm again the requested flight level.
Yeah. No. Is Twitch working? People, they're reconnected. Are people seeing me on Twitch? Mr. Milan says the 900 would have also resolved the only problem I personally have with the 380. It looks too short. Indeed, yes. Fine on Twitch. Okay, great news. Thank you. Yeah. So yeah. Come on. The 380 900 would have been very pretty. Yeah, it would have looked nice. Michael John says, evening captain, good to see you streaming this. I really like it. It's a different challenge to flying the A320, a little more involved to me. Yes, it is definitely more involved. Yeah. No doubt. I do watch aircraft investigation occasionally. Not much these days, but I have watched a lot of them. Yeah.
Descending flight level 250, Alpine 63 Whiskey Romeo.
Peter says, have to leave, Captain. Have a nice landing and nice Sunday evening. Bye for now. See you later, Peter. Thank you for joining us.
Control
Yeah, I think this is a Microsoft Flight Simulator survey issue.
Wait for 2 minutes.
Right, systems check. Let's run through that.
Thank you, we'll report back.
All on this great screen. Engine display all looking sensible. This is all pretty familiar stuff. Slightly separate electric screen, so AC buses and the central AC buses, and DC. On the 320 they managed to integrate that all together. Bleed system working fine. That looks very similar to the 320. Conditioning has a lot more zones, so 1, 2, oh, well, I suppose only 3 extra zones. 1 extra zone. Then the cargo hold. Pressurization 8 psi, vertical speed 0, 7,000 feet, all sensible. This very similar to the screen we have now on the 320. Fuel. So it did, yes, it's trimmed out the fuel. So what it's done is it's driven fuel from the, it looks like the inner tanks, and it's fed them into the trim tank, which I assume is at the back. That's driven our CG. Remember I commented the CG is very forward. It's driven it back to 33%. So why would you bother doing this? Well, it is a long-haul aircraft. So having the aircraft in trim is a luxury you can have when you have time to sort of move fuel around. So you don't want the CG to be too far forward because it burns more fuel. The airplane has to produce more anti-lift, as it were. That doesn't make sense at all. To balance out weight at the front of the airplane, the tail of the airplane has to be pushed down. So the overall result is, because you're pushing down the back of the airplane, it's like a seesaw, and it will raise the nose. So you have to put more weight on the back of the airplane. Remember, that means that this fin at the back is producing not lift, but actually the opposite. So what you want is the trim to be in the optimum range, in the middle of the wing, where that doesn't have to produce any downlift.
Control, this is EG25, Charlie X-ray back in the cockpit.
What is it called? Weight, I suppose. Anti-lift. Yeah, by moving, once you're in the cruise, it can pump the fuel to the back, move the trim back, and yeah. Now that's great, but I've spoken to pilots of airplanes that have this, and a really fun failure is if, let's say, you're over the Atlantic, and then the transfer from this trim tank to your main tanks fails, and this trim tank can't feed the engines directly. I don't know if it can on the 310, but yeah, that's a fun failure, which means you basically immediately have to divert because you're out of fuel. There you go. We've used 4 tons of fuel, so we should have about 10 and a bit. There it is, 10.9 tons, adds up to 15. All looking good. Anyway, nice to see that system modelled. APU is all off, yeah. Flight controls, not expecting to see much there. Doors. Wheel. All looking good. Canards for life, says Richard Dustler. Yes, Canards are good. Frank, do you have a favourite football team? Not really, I'm afraid. Connection problems for several people. Okay, great. Not just me then. Flight Sim says a lost connection happens to me as well, even though everything still works. Just okay, we'll do. Darnard says, what does the CL and CR option mean on the right of the toga on the MCT? That is the, I think TRP, Matteo might know this. I think TRP stands for thrust reference. No, I don't know. I don't know what it stands for. Anyway, it's this little panel. So CR is saying cruise thrust. So I can actually change the limit myself. We've got it in auto, but I could say MCT, and it will allow the engines to go to MCT thrust of 102.3, max continuous thrust. But in auto, it will be cruise thrust. During the climb, it was inclined thrust, 102.5. So there you go. So that's all that's doing. Toga limit as well. Now, the 320 does this automatically. This also has the auto feature. In the 320 we don't have this panel. What we do is we move the thrust levers from different gates. So they sit in the climb thrust gate, and the aircraft limits itself to climb thrust for the whole flight. And then it's got MCT and toga above that.
Alpha X-ray, report your MAC number to Milano 127.45. Bye-bye.
Birdman says, did you find out the difference between heading and heading select? No, I didn't at all. I've heard it's heading select, but I don't know why you would have a difference. For those of you wondering what I'm talking about, heading mode. I'm going to synchronize heading bug, and I can say heading select, and here's heading /S. Great, fine. And then we've also got heading. So what is the difference between heading select and heading? Oh, I found it. It's another sort of pre-arm. So in heading mode, it just flies the current heading, and then if I hit heading select, it will actually turn to that heading. Interesting. Let's put it back to nav before we get in trouble. So there we go. Bit of experimenting. The reason I didn't realise that when I was making my video is because if we press heading select, or we pull heading, but you're in a straight line, you're not going to notice a difference. It's funny, 320 doesn't have the heading select mode, so 320 actual heading mode would be heading select, as it were. In heading mode, as you turn it, it will adjust. I suppose that's because they had a heading bug, so they were integrating it in this way. Pointless, as I say. Nav mode, there we go. Lauren B says, heading without select is to use the localizer or RNAV tracks. Okay, interesting. Heading without select. Yeah, I don't know. Nath says, I just subscribed. What is your favourite plane? Loads. I always struggle to answer that. As I like a lot of aeroplanes. Concorde, 380, 340, 600, 757, Beluga, Beluga XL as a result. What else? I do like, of course, the 320. Are there any, like in terms of fighter jets, I like the F-14 a lot. SR-71. These are pretty standard answers. I mean, there's loads and loads. I struggle with a favourite. Too many categories. Dennis says, I got into flight simulation during the pandemic. I've been flying Airbuses on MatSim. It's so cool flying Airbus. Yeah, it is great fun. It is great. Downforce, yes, downforce will be the thing. Negative lifts there. Yeah. Sorry, talking about CG earlier. FS Flight says it can't feed directly. It has to feed back to the centre for feeding. Okay, so yeah, so talking about the fuel system earlier in the trim tank. So yeah, the fuel in that trim tank can't go straight to the engines. It has to go to the centre first. Not the inner, I guess. Look, it's even driving the CG further back as we burn fuel. Interesting. James says, I just caught up with the whole cold and dark and takeoff prep. I don't remember seeing anything about how the hydraulics was set up. Did I miss it? No, there's not much to do with the hydraulics, really. The panel's up here, you've got a nice gauge, and then all the lights should be off, as it were. If you force it on, that's wrong. I don't think failures are modelled now, so I'm not going to start pressing things. I believe we don't have failures yet. Because in the X-Plane version, you could go menu, and then there was failures, but that doesn't seem to be here yet. I'm not complaining at all, by the way. Some code says, how do you choose your cruise altitude, or does it just go east is odd, west even? So east is odd, west is even odder, yeah. But also the flight planners or the computer software will do that. It will look at winds and all sorts and choose the best flight level, and it will know your weight. Although not always, doesn't always get the weights right. Boom says, is there any situation where alpha protection will push the nose down when it's not supposed to if an angle of attack sensor fails? If so, is there any way to override this? Push the nose down where it's not supposed to if an angle of attack sensor fails. Well, yes, there was in the 320. They fixed that. There was, it's called a normal V alpha prot. So that was if the alpha protection wanted to lower the nose on you. It's similar to. I'm going to be careful what I say now. It's that was a system that was around, and they fixed it. I don't know how they fixed it, but in theory it shouldn't be possible now. But if you were stuck like that, you would turn off 2 of the ADRs. This is A320, doesn't apply to A310, and then you could override it by basically putting it into alternate law, and then you could override the protection if it was spuriously trying to protect you by pointing you at the ground. FS Flight says TRP should thrust rating panel. Thanks, FS Flight. Excellent. Thank you. An MD-80 you set for man. Yeah, the MD-80 is quite a machine. Alan Evil says, you mentioned max continuous thrust. Does that mean if run engines in toga for too long, they overheat or break down? What is the point of allowing them to run harder if they are not designed for that load? Why go beyond the limit, I'm trying to say. Okay, I'll just see if anyone's answered that question, because I do have an answer for that.
Wings 231, I got the flight plan, thank you. Squawk 0647.
Okay, I am way behind on the chat, so apologies. Right, Alan's asking, why have toga? Why not limit the engines to whatever setting they can be at all day? It's because the engines have to have a very high rating for use in emergency situations. So toga thrust, takeoff, go around thrust, we don't really use it for takeoff much, but we use it for go arounds. And if you have an engine failure, it doesn't matter, you don't need to go to toga thrust, the aircraft will be certified without it. But if you have things like wind shear and EGPWS, you're close to terrain, or you have just any situation that means the airplane is low on energy, wouldn't you want to give the pilots as much thrust as is available? So if you build your engine and you know it can safely run at a certain power setting, but you wouldn't want it sitting there all day, because as it does, it's going to eventually pose a risk of overheating a part of it or damaging a part of it. But if those pilots need that for a few seconds, if that's the difference between hitting the ground and getting away from it, or climbing and descending in an extreme situation, why not have that thrust available in the certification, and why not have it there ready with a limit? So yeah, I think it's fair enough. But it's a good question. Yeah, why not just have MCT? But having that extra thrust in the event of a go around is very useful. I don't think I wouldn't, to show you how those limits are a little bit academic in some senses, on the A320 we can run at toga or takeoff thrust for up to 5 minutes when we have two engines running. Now if we have an engine failure, we can run for 10 minutes. So already that shows you there's a difference. The point is they don't want us running the engines at toga thrust for more than 5 minutes routinely, because it just has the potential to wear the engines in a not designed way. I wouldn't sit there if I had an engine failure and I ran the engine at toga for 10 minutes. I'm not going to stress if it goes to 10 minutes and 1 second. It's not about to disintegrate. I wouldn't have thought. I wouldn't want to, but those limits are there for a reason. But that's it. Because you could say, let's say you take off and you have an engine failure, and you are at toga thrust for some reason on that live engine that's left. So you're toga thrust, single engine. You run that engine for 10 minutes at toga thrust for whatever reason. You shouldn't have to, but if you do, you do. You're allowed to. And then you come around and make your approach, and then you go to toga thrust again for a go around, because something happens and you have to go around. You go around at toga thrust. So you can end up running it for 20 minutes in a period of time. But it's just a limit there to just stop anything crazy happening to it, to protect the engine in the event that you really need it. Right, that was a way too long answer. Apologies. James says, when I was 75 310, I got a lot of complaining about the yellow hydraulics, so I was wondering what I did. Oh, strange. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't done anything with it. What kind of metric is M1? Like, why is it allowed to go over 100? Says Michael. Good question. It's just an arbitrary rating, so whatever 100 happens to be decided at by the manufacturer. Yeah, completely arbitrary. It's like degrees Celsius and so on. Airbus doesn't need MCAS. It has a similar version, but it doesn't run the trimmer, the MCAS. So the alpha protection runs the elevators. The Airbus has direct elevator control. It doesn't need to run the trimmer. So if you were to recover from a normal V-alpha prop, you had a normal airplane in your hands, not one with a huge nose-down trim input, which you could hardly overcome or couldn't overcome in some tragic cases. So that's the big difference there, or one of the big difference. F-14 is a beautiful jet, says Nate. Yeah, absolutely. Favourite BizJet system code? That's a hard question. I don't know many. I like the look of the Globe Express, I think. Yeah, Faris, yeah, I only recently found out about the enhanced version. Before the stream today, people kindly commented on it. Ryan says, what are some differences between early versions of VNAV on 310, 320? VNAV on the 320 would obey the altitude constraints in the climb as well as the descent. In the 310, only in the descent. Right, I'm just scrolling through. FS Flight says you can actually manually transfer the fuel back to the centre with a forward button on the overhead. Ah!
approved for flight level 380. Thank you.
There we go. So mode to forwards, and I'm now driving the fuel. There you go, from the trim tank into the centre. FS Flight has a lot of knowledge on the 310. Very good. Thank you very much. I'm so sorry. I'm so far behind the chat. I'm going to have to miss a whole load of things, and I'm going to catch up with the chat. So if you have posted and I missed it, I can only apologise. If you'd like to, Viper says, if you change cruise to 37 to 36, now the plane is in DES mode, just change the cruise back to the level you're in. But if you descend it down, I don't know actually. Try re-entering 360, see if that works, or changing it up and down again. So 37 then back to 36.
Contrôle de l'Ouest, bonjour, Liberté 564, on passe le 310 pour le 360 sur Nuremberg. Liberté 564, Eurocontrôle, bonjour, identifié, montée niveau 380. On demanderait le 360 initialement, s'il vous plaît, Liberté 564, on est un peu lourd. Ok, pas de problème, montée niveau 360.
Good question, Viper. Yeah, in the 320 you could just re-enter it into the init page. I'm not entirely sure about the 310, apologies. I'm not sure I can fix that. Yeah, with the discussion about Alpha Prot and the Airbus and the MCAS and the boat, they are different systems. That there will be very strict criteria. I know they have similarities in that they both put the nose down if they mistakenly think you're at a high angle of attack, but the 320 system, like I say, is working through the normal flight control computers. That's interesting. Fuel gravity forward transfer only. Now, what happens if I turn those off? If no fuel leak, fuel crossfeed in line. No, I'm not sure that achieved much. I was wondering if I could force the fuel in by using the pumps, but there we go. It's saying it's doing a gravity. I wonder why you'd do this. I suppose if you were suddenly diverting, let's say you're halfway through a flight, expecting to have another few hours there, and then you're suddenly diverting, you might want to drive that fuel out of the tank to have it ready for a go around, maybe. Don't know, maybe it would be in like a diversion checklist forward button. Maybe not. Right, let's set up for gases. Set up with 340 Manta 222.
And right now 3404, we're back with you.
340. So we've been told to go down. I don't want to go down too fast, so I'm just going to hit VS. I'll just do 1,000 feet a minute. Out blue, 340 VS, 1,000 feet a minute. Goodbye to those, goodbye to that, and that. Vastic 1 Golf, let's hope that works.
7301, Eurocontrol, bonjour, identified, direct Resni. Direct Resni, Martin 734.
Well, why can't I ever find it?
Bonsoir, 3jet 14 Romeo, passing flight 3jet 4 Tango Romeo, Eurocontrol, bonjour, identified.
Ah, it's Toulouse, what am I doing? What am I doing? How long was I going to look at those? Before realising. There it is. Yeah, they didn't look much like Gatwick. On arrival, it doesn't say it's specific to Cessnas or something, which usually it does whenever I try and fly an approach. So let's do that and that. So Vasux is going to bring us into Willow.
222, leaving my airspace, Unicom 122, decimal 8, bye-bye.
1228, Manta 222, thanks for your help, goodbye. 1228. Scroll, scroll, scroll. That's tedious. That's exactly why I wanted my radio panel working. I wish I could remember which button it was. Can't risk it. Can't risk it. Flight deck Buckaroo. Or bingo, depending if you know what Buckaroo game is. Patrick says, the A310 textures on console are quite blurry and hard to read sometimes. I suppose it's performance. Yeah, that's why I've got the... I would have agreed when I made my first video with it but the updated versions in the marketplace are very good. If you can get them on Xbox, I don't know. FS Flight Productions, how do you know so much about the A310? I'm curious. It's an unusual airplane for people to be so familiar with. Matteo is another, like I say, resident A310 expert. 34,000, there we go, outstar. So it does have outstar in the descent. I'm going to go back to constraint. Let's check through the arrival. And actually I should grab the weather. Now everyone said don't do it, so I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to do it on my phone, because apparently that crashes things. I can't say I've seen it crash the sim, but you know, by saying that, I am naturally, of course, meaning it's definitely going to happen. So Gatwick, is there a weather? Actually, it might be an 80s before I get too bogged down. Oh, there we go. We have an 80s. So Gatwick, they are information alpha. 08 right. That's what we expected. Condition is 70. Wind 1202. 9K is getting a bit misty. It's true for the UK today. It's been very humid. So 9,000 meters. We got temperature 12. Dew point 11. Ooh, fog coming. QNH 1016. Information alpha. Goods. Okay. Thanks, James, for the description. Thanks, Chris B. FS Flight. Normally for the fuel system, you can leave the forward off, and then at 2:05 it will auto transfer forward. There you go. Excellent knowledge. Great. Oh, let's leave it off then. Matteo says vast majority of airlines measure G-load for hard landings. What prompts an engineering check depends on the actual plane. 320 is incredibly steady. Indeed, yes. So the threshold is different, and you can still need an inspection even if the G-load doesn't go off, because there are ways you can overstress an aircraft landing it even without reaching the G limits. For example, if you crash the nose gear in, that might need an inspection even though it doesn't have a way to check it. Or it doesn't monitor it, because it can't in that sense. Right. Right. Apologies. So let us go to plan. Zoom in. We're on Unicom now. The world is our oyster. So we're going from Rev 2. Fine. And Holly, Willow, and then it'll be Willow to hold. Ah, FS Flight works for Ini. I was gonna say someone who I know flies the 320 but also knows so much about the 310. Excellent. Well, great work. Everybody absolutely loves it. So there you go. And it's a fantastic machine. So Holly, back to Willow. And that's the route we're going to do. That's on there. It doesn't seem to project. So 320 does this until you put the weights in it. It projects with curves. 310 doesn't seem to bother with that. So yeah. 220 knots of Holly, which I think, let's see, can we do that clean by now? Our clean speed, is that shown? VFTO. Well, it's 245, but I think that's just because we're so high. So I'm not going to stress over that. Anyway, we shall see. We shall see as we get down there. We might need to start putting flaps out. Gatwick director will call soon, says Lauren V. Indeed. So round we go, and then 70 at Willow. That's absolutely great. And that's all in there, 70. So it's got a VNAV plan, and it will obey the constraints in the descent. So that's good. So I will use profile descent. And then we fly the ILS. You see it's actually connected it all for us, but we will put a hold in at Willow if we think we're going to end. Oh no, yeah, either a Willow hold or there's a small chance of a Mayfield. I'm not entirely sure what would be preferable here today. Do not be on Willow without clearance. So yeah, no word from Willow, we'll hold there. Great. Taxi charts. Parking stands. Good. 08 right, long runway, inset threshold, 3,300 meters. Will come off Delta or Charlie Romeo. Choice for landing. Firstly, auto brake. Let's put it to low, long runway. It only works, by the way, this is in the neutral position or down. And if we go over here, check the GPWS position, I want it in 3040. We'll do a 40 landing. And when we use the airplane, we'll do the 3040. We'll do 3040, and 2020 will be like a flat 3. Really, really nice and high limiting speeds on the flaps, by the way. 245, 210, 195, 180, so it's quite handy. Good, so that's all good. Let's set up what we need on here. So, approach, landing config, we're doing 3040. I'm not going to put wind correction, it's calm winds. 139 V app. I'm just going to write that down in big letters, or big numbers. 139 V app. We talked about clean speed, which I don't believe right now, and landing at 113.8 tons. Nice, it's all in there for us. What was I going to do? Minimums. Thanks, Marco, for the subscription. So minimums on the ILS. Oh, it's the initial chart, of course. So let's go to finals chart. So it's a D8, DA of 396. So I'm just going to put 396 in here. I'm going to leave this off at -5, this DH. I don't see what I need it for. We're not doing an auto land, so there we go. Normal 3-degree ILS, that's all nice, straightforward. Configuring wise, we'll be flat 1 on base leg, and then I'll go, or say flat 1, we'll be 15 and 0 on base leg, and then I want flaps out, so at least 15 degrees of flap. So the second stage, as we start down the glide slope from 8.6 miles, and about 6 miles, I'll put the gear out. If they want to say 160 knots to 4 DME, then we will do that just fine. I think this airplane is quite draggy. Now we're way high on the profile because I've talked right through top of descent, which it hasn't told me. So I'm going to put in the classic 100 initially. And let's see what we're going to do here. Let's go profile, and then it immediately, unlike the Airbus, it immediately goes down. So there you go, retard profile descent. It's going to be very high, and down we go. A-Spec says, surprisingly, the A310 has reviews. Indeed, yes. So it has a version of Alpha Floor. Yeah, it will spool up the thrust. I was going to do that on the stream today, but we've been chatting so much, I completely missed it. So apologies for that. I was going to do a bit of rolling and so on. Matteo says, landing in A320 in Jersey with 24 knot crosswind. Wish me luck. Good luck, Matteo. I hope it goes well. Should be good fun. Indeed, hard landings are G-force related, not feet per minute. Although feet per minute or vertical speed is also measured, but it's not, not such a useful tool. Dennis says, surprisingly, A310 has a land mode. Wow, wonder if it's equipped to do Cat 3 dual. Yeah, A310 totally capable of auto landing. It's got an auto land light here, just like we do on the 320 that flashes. So they've used this system in the 320 as well. Notice this rudder input stop lights. This is stop rudder input. Yeah. Stop rudder input. So that is sadly to do with the fact that there was an A300, was it, or A310 that the rudder came off because of light feel on the rudder pedals. And the pilot over-controlled after hitting some wake turbulence. Not that you don't generally use the rudder on an aircraft like this, but they did. And sadly, it rips the tail off and the whole airplane crashed, killing everyone. A310 can also land, says Matteo. Absolutely. Yeah, it's very capable. FS Flight Production says, if you ever want to ask anything about A310, feel free to DM me or hop over to any Discord and I'll be around. Thanks for the kind words. You're very welcome, FS Flight Production. Thanks for the work on it, and thanks for coming along and helping us out today. It's been really interesting. Some great systems. Really interesting systems to see models, yeah. Because I have flown the X-Plane 11 version, and yeah, clearly my knowledge is skin deep. Lovely day in the south of the UK, though. By the way, if FS Flight, if you have any influence over it, can I please request the Beluga come to Microsoft Flight Simulator? I'm sure you hear that a lot, but yeah, I really, really would love that. I absolutely love the Beluga. We've flown it quite a lot on the channel, in various liveries, even the DHL one. Amandu says, does anyone know why the A310 is descending too slow and too late for me using profile? Constantly 1,000 feet plus over the runway on final. On final? Have you engaged the right modes? Have you put it into ILS mode on final? Do watch my full flight sort of quick start guide video, and that should show you how to fly an approach. Full Prawn says it seems to have a lot of spoilers. It does indeed. Let's use them. All along the wing, it deploys loads. These ones are reserved for ground spoilers on a lot of aircraft, but on the 310 they all deploy. So they are quite effective. You can see here it's reducing to 250 now because it's obeying the speed limit here, the 250 at TEL2. So yeah, we are considerably high. If I go to tactical modes, I can actually do max descent speed, and it will ignore that and just dive down. There it goes. So effectively expedite descent. Oh, next question. What does this final approach button do if I activate it here? I know it drives the speed back to 133, but why can I not? When I've done that before, and then it disappears, and then I can't do it again. And when I manage the speed, it doesn't seem to work. I mean, when should this be pressed is my question. Is it like the approach phase? It seems to be like the approach phase, but it doesn't seem as reliable as that, perhaps. Dimitri says, would you agree that this plane needs some tweaking? Comparing it to the X-Plane 1, there are a few things that are off. I'm afraid I haven't used the X-Plane 1 enough. I've used the 310, the Beluga, sorry, a lot, but not the 310. I didn't actually have the 310 until I made my prep video. So we're going to level off at 100 before Holly, so I think we're actually going to be alright. We're a little high on the profile still, but it is correcting slowly. Yep, VOR flipping around because we overflew it indeed. So next checklist will be the approach checklist. Let me think, what else do we need to do? Oh, yeah, well, good time for me to think about it. It's too late. Time to do 126.825. Oh. One, 2, 6, 8, 2, 5. Right, let's get this right. Got to impress Gatwick when we first check in. Oh dear. Ooh. That's as it loads in my Gatwick scenery, I suspect. Right, we have Information Alpha. We're an A310. And we got going to Holly. Gatwick, good evening. Manta 222. Descending flight level 100 to Holly, A310 with Alpha.
Manta 222, Gatwick director, landing 08 right, no delay, descent, flight level 70.
Landing 8 right, descent flight level 70. Manta 222. 70. 70 is in. 17,000 feet. It's a shame it doesn't have the nice track miles to run. That probably on the progress page. Yeah, 45. So 15, 30, 40. We're okay. We're okay. Ah, it's got to hold. You can see that little arrow to the left. I think. Oh. Well, we'll see. It might suddenly dive into a hold, so we'll be ready to intervene on that. Otherwise, everything's going fine. Don't worry about it. FS Flights is exactly that. It will do this automatically, but it shows no magenta D, so it can be confusing to crew, so it's just a way to do it manually. Okay, great. So that's going to drive the speed back to the approach speed. So hopefully, if I manage the speed on final, it will do the same thing to what we're expecting. So we're going to vacate to the left of Delta, and then we'll go wherever we need to go. That's fine. To land this aeroplane, crucially, I'm going to turn the autopilot off on final. I'm going to leave the auto thrust in. I'm going to close the thrust levers in the flare, my hardware ones, but in the real aircraft, they would move. Big difference to the 320, these do actually move. So they're going to drive themselves to 0 in the flare automatically, and I just need to match up my hardware to align with that. So it's a clever system. Don't see it much these days. I've had a lot of landings where being able to control the thrust by, well, not control, but what I'm doing is in the 320, by leaving the thrust levers in the climb gate, I am forcing the Airbus to continue to apply thrust. Whereas if it automatically shut it off like it does in an auto land, that could have been nasty. Now we said no delay. Ooh. No, this is a bit concerning. Where's it going? It says Holly. Has it gone into a hold? Heading 030 degrees, Manta 222. 220 knots, Manta 222. That's lucky. Solves my problem. Heading 030. 220 knots it has automatically come back to. Let's get rid of the speed brake. I like that. The VLS does move up and down just as it would do in the 320. We can do 220 clean, luckily. Okay, so we're now on vectors. That's looking good. 10,000 feet, 220 knots, heading 030. Good, good, good. That's working out. FS Flight says that is actually the turn point. Shows you 125. Ah, I see. So because it was turning early, it showed you the turn point. Interesting. Yeah, they totally changed that coding for the 320, or that display style. Left end 250 degrees, man to 222.
And the 222 range 28 miles, descent to altitude 5,000 feet, QNH 1016.
Descend 5,000 feet, QNH 1016, man to 222.
The funds are 1334, speed 160.
5,000 feet, right, lots going on here. So left heading 250.
160 knots, 160 knots are graded to...
I'm just going to put it to level change because I just want to get down.
OAR.
I'm not sure what it's going to do at this altitude. 220 knots.
That's 1334, you still have 4,000 feet.
250.
We're having some troubles right now.
Some serious lag. Right, speed 220, heading select 250. 50, so let's go to QNH of 10. 16, that's in. Right, out blue 5,000. Auto thrust is armed because it would engage. We're just in level change. Again, they changed that. It would actually just say thrust idle in the 320 now, which I think is a better system. It just tells you what it's commanding. Interesting about that turn point though. That confused me. Yeah. Manta 222. Lauren B says, we crossed the pond without realizing. Yeah, sometimes you get away with that. And I love it when a controller uses the triple, especially when you're even the real call signs. I like it when they swap to triple. But yeah, it's quite relatively rare. Right, we're over 8,000 feet, and we are, yeah, we're not in a good place here. So going to flaps 1, or I should say slats 15, flap 0. Now that drives the VLS. Essentially 3,000 feet, Manta 222. 3,000 feet. Speed brakes coming out. Speed brakes coming out. It's all fine because we have some slats now, so that drives VLS away from us. Not too much though, but there they are. Yeah, we are significantly high here. Let's run the approach checklist. Signs set. Briefing is... No, they're not. Right, actually, let me start the recording software as well.
I'm the 493 Gatwick director.
You just copied this, can you please say it again?
I'm on the 493, where are you routing to?
Right, software's ready.
Roger. I'm on the 495, Gresham 493, fly heading at 240 degrees.
6,000 feet. Okay, we're getting back onto profile here. We're quite far away from the centre fix, about 10 miles, so I'm going to start putting the speed brake in. Look at this mist. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. This is the weather engine in this sim is incredible. This is just what it starts to look like as it's that dew point temperature reaching each other on the ground. You get these patches like this. Love it. Right. Anyway, signs are on auto. Briefing confirmed. ECAM status checked. Altimeters. QH 1016. Minimums we've got set. We're doing it through here. Whatever it was, 396. Ignition not required. Landing elevation. Yeah, about 100 feet. That's set over here, hidden away. Okay, we're in a pretty good place here.
Left 260, speed 220 knots, again at 220.
Turn right heading 280 degrees.
Riding 280 degrees, Manta 222. I bet the VATSIM controllers have had a lot of 310s suddenly appear. I mean, they must have a big increase in users since Flight Simulator. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Right, we're going to get low in a second. Vertical speeds. It is London, so they're probably going to want a continuous descent of some variety. Hold on.
Roger. Get 3 Delta Charlie, turn left at 290 degrees.
left 290, correct 290,
Kilo 3 Delta Charlie, range is about 28 miles, runway 08 right, descend to altitude 5,000 feet, QNH 1016.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how far out we'd go. We've gone quite a long way out. By the way, we need to go ILS. That's my mistake. And absolutely crucial. I'm sure someone's written this, but I really feel like I should have done this earlier. 1109078. Should have done this much earlier, or the ILS will not work. And it's a long way to scroll.
Triple two, turn right to 350 degrees, speed 180 knots.
Right in 350 degrees, 180 knots. That's 222. Yeah, well, we're not going to manage a continuous, but there's only so much we can do.
Okay, we direct to November.
And we don't know the airplane. That's our excuse.
You again, holding at tunnel 3000 feet. Whenever you're ready, you'd like to divert to Gatwick.
Maybe someone's visibility's dropped. 180 knots. So with the approach phase activated, would it stop itself at the green manoeuvring speeds, like the 320? Let's go to the next stage of flap.
Descend 3,000 feet, clear left 3 Delta Charlie.
Going to be a flap out now, 180 knots. 3,000 feet. And inbound course, must get that tuned or we're going to be in real trouble here. 078. There we go. That was lucky. I remember that. Right, so we've got the ILS scales, we've got the DME, and it's all tuned and identified. Great stuff. Johnny says, no, leave it to last minute. 2 hours of boredom followed by 10 minutes of sheer panic. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Triple T, turn right in 050 degrees, clear Dallas approach 08 right.
Riding 050 degrees, cleared ILS 08 right, Manta 222. Now that's quite a tight intercept, so I'm just going to actually straight away press land, switch arms, lock and glide slope, and now continue the turn. That way if it captures in the meantime, or would have done, I've given it a chance. Oh, please don't do that.
08 right, clear the line.
050, there we go, that's actually working out quite nicely. It's sequenced correctly. There's lock star, 180 knots, 3,000 feet, looking good. Not an efficient descent, but there we go. Christmas says, just tried to land this thing and it turned away from the ILS and stalled on me. Oh, interesting. Hopefully mine doesn't. Did yours pilot Bay VLS V8 Max like 320? Excessive climb rate and descent rate? It has. I'm not sure. I need to do a bit more experimenting on that. FS Flight Productions will know all about that, I'm sure. Right, FS Flight says, but when you get glide slope star, the profile drops off. Ah, okay. So that's okay. Interesting. So it would do the correct speeds until we get glide slope start, and then it drops off. Okay.
Triple T traffic information, 9 o'clock, 3.5 miles.
There we are.
Same level. Ryanair 737, that's fast moving. Not sure what they're doing. They're just doing what they want. Looks like about to try and establish, but can't really do much, I'm afraid.
Okay, no problem. Thanks for the heads up, Manta 222. So
So
dilemma here. What do we do? Do we obey the TCAS when it comes, because they are about to infringe us? We're going to descend about 9 miles, so we've got about 2 miles to go. We've got the flaps out we wanted on the back of the wing, so that's good. We're ready to start our ILS. Deliver this beauty to Manta head office.
487 runway 08 right, clear takeoff, wind 110 degrees, 2 knots.
By the way, going altitude, straight ahead, passing 2,000 feet, but we're climbing to 3,000 feet.
Ground 121 decimal.
Here comes the glide slope. Wide one was thin as on fire. Oh no. Sorry, wide one, but 160 or greater to 4, Manta 222. Okay, 160, no problem. That's exactly what we wanted to do, and he's giving it to us just as we join the glide. 160. That's good. So glide slope star, going actually 3,000 feet is in. Speed glide slope lock, Cat 2. We could engage the other autopilot, and he gets Cat 3. But I'm going to leave it Cat 2. Engines are idle. Coming back to 160 is a bit slow about that. Okay, there we go. $160, 2,500 feet. Radio temperatures are live. That makes sense.
Good evening, Ryanair 399 Echo flight level 340 direct rapid.
4 prawns says I missed the ILS, then tried to land some trees in the mist. Oh dear. Right, we're doing 6 miles. Pol9, thanks so much for the 23 euro super chat sub. Thank you, Pol9. Really, really appreciate it. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks for the very kind super chat. Very, very kind of you. I hope you're doing very well. Great to see you here. My DH, I'm going to leave the DH at -5 because I'm running on the MDA down here. Oh, I see, in case we want to do an auto land. Yeah, we could do. 5.4 miles, we've just got a second. 200. Just in case you have to do it. You would have to set both sides. I think this controller, yes, this controller is doing tower, so they can clear us the land. Thank you again, Pol9, for the very kind super chat. Really appreciate it. Gear down. I can't manage the speed. No, just presets. This is the problem I was having earlier. Flaps to 3. Come on. There we go. And flaps to full. I love the whine of the flaps on this aircraft. VAP 138. Right, landing checklist. Landing gear down, 3 greens. Auto brake low, anti-skid norm. Slats flaps, we've got 30-40, and spoilers are arms. Landing checks complete. We are not clear to land. We are visual, so I'll forget about the minimum things. Thank you again, Pol9, for the very kind super chat. Sorry, it's so busy. We're not clear to land yet. Oh, I'm getting so much lag. This is going to be tough. Manta 222. Are we clear to land? Apologies. Oh yeah, there's some lights. Oh, it's going to get hard. I haven't got enough hands for this. Need another pilot. I hope they're not lining up.
November 1 Mike Bravo, right turn 260 degrees. Right turn 260 degrees, 1 Mike Bravo. That's the 222s. Oh, there's traffic entering runway for some reason, so I'm afraid they yeah, go around the second, go around the knowledge.
Go around my 222. I'll forget this then. Autopilot. Let's try it. Go around. There we go. Thrust, go arounds. Flaps in a stage. Positive climb. Gear up. We've got thrust, go around. 3000 blue. Hopefully it does go to nav mode. Yeah, it's got that on the ND. Climbing away. The frame rate there is absolutely shocking. It's rocketing up. Ooh. I'm surprised Vatson's not booted us off for that. Right, this should be thrust reduction.
Manta 222, climb straight ahead, altitude 3,000 feet.
Straight ahead 3,000 feet, Manta 222. Right, let's synchronize the heading. Let's go heading select. It's not got the speed right. So I'm guessing on final approach, you would pre-select a go-around speed. Oh, this is bad. The frame rate is absolutely atrocious here.
Manta 222, turn left, heading 270 degrees.
Left heading 270 degrees, Manta 222.
Air transit 44 Oscar 08, right clear to takeoff, wind 110 degrees.
Right, let's sort out this airplane. Let's go to 180 knots and we'll get the flaps in a stage. This is not a go-around profile at all here. Just doing my best. 270 on the heading. Oh, please. This has become unusable. Here we go. Okay. 270.
London 487, Unicom 122, decimal 8, goodbye.
I think what's happened is it's just with the extra traffic, I've pushed my computer too far. 270 flaps. We're going to go upper stage. Yeah, there we go. 15 of 15. Ideally, I want to get all of that in, so let's accelerate again because we're just going to burn a whole lot of fuel cruising around. We've got, how much fuel have we got? 7.5 tons of fuel, which is fine. We don't need 3 tons to go to Brussels. We'll just go to Heathrow, so we'll drop that 3 tons. There we go. We can go to our slat speeds. And let's go to 220. We know we can do that clean. Okay, 220. Right. Speed out, heading select, 270, 3,000 feet. We're on the QNH, 220 knots. We have enough fuel to do what we're doing. After takeoff, climb checklist is land. Slats flaps are now retracted. Gear landing gear is up. Neutral. I'm going to re-engage low auto brake. Packs are on. Altimeters are going to stay on the QNH. Good. Approach checklist signs staying on. Briefing is confirmed. We're going to do the same thing again. We know what happened. We can stay at Gatwick. It wasn't an issue. It was just somebody got on the runway, so the airfield's still available to us. Yeah, we're going to got the ILS tuned. So it's got go. I should have maybe I press go around. So what happens if I? What's the flight plan page thinking? Okay. Who knows what I should do now? FS Flight Productions, can you help me? Should I press go around? Would that sequence it back to another approach? I'm curious. Left wing 260 degrees, matter 222. Luckily, it won't matter realistically. It doesn't matter what the flight plan is sequenced to, because A, we know he's going to, if we go around, we'll go straight ahead probably, and B, we're just going to do it based on the radio navigator anyway. Lauren B says, had a fun moment with X-Plane 72 about to depart my airport, and the Delta pauses off the departure and ends up the next departure has to reject. Oh dear. FS Flight, thank you. You have to press profile and nav, otherwise it stays in go around mode. Okay. Speed out 3,000 feet, it's going to 250. Okay. Yeah, I should have done all of that during the go arounds. I had not looked up any go around procedures, I'm afraid. We'll just do 230 for now. Why did I press that then? I'm hoping. Notice, by the way, as the thrust comes back, the nose is heaved up because of that loss of pitch power couple. No, it's just giving us information. Yeah, some speeds for the go around. Okay. I'm just going to press final approach on here. Let's go back to 220 like we were. I'm guessing I need to re-enter some sort of arrival then. I don't want to enable the alternate. Oh well. Doesn't matter, it'd be nice to have it on the screen, but there we go.
Turning right heading 050 degrees, November 1 Mike Bravo.
FS Flight says you have to use lat rev and type a new destination. Ah, we're going to have to do the whole thing. Interesting. Thank you. So, new waypoint. Not new waypoint. New route 2.
Manta 2222, turn left by 10 degrees and speed 180 knots.
180 knots, left 10, Manta 222. 250. First stage of flaps coming out. Or the slats, I should say. 180.
Got my Delta, that's Juliet 1. Roger.
New route.
Into my Delta by Juliet 1, line up 08 right. Lining up 08 right, got my Delta. Manta 222, turn left heading 235.
Left end 235, Manta 222. Next stage of flaps. And 235. Weather's only getting worse down there. So let's this time set up for the full thing, because that was a little gap in the clouds really. So I'm just going to put all the automatics in case you want to auto land. Now I don't know how to auto land this airplane, but we might have to. We shall see. I'm assuming this is a Cat 3 runway. Yeah, Cat 3 BRS, 75 meters, 200, and oh, ignore me. Why am I putting 200 in? If we're going to do the low vis, it's going to be no. So in that case, yeah, would that be the -5? Making me work for myself. Not what we're expecting to do today. Yeah, we had no DH. That would be a reason to put it to -5, I suppose.
Transat 4 for Oscar, scored by Charlie.
Transat, there you go. So more 310s flying around.
575 climber, Unicom 122.8.
122.8,
Get rid of that fuel page. Fuel's looking good. 6.9 tons. Looking good. We're burning. Fuel flow is 4 tons an hour per engine. Wow.
222, turning 110 degrees, clear LS approach, runway 08 right.
Left 112 degrees, clear LS 8 right. Manta 222. I really don't know if we're going to be able to land though. I think the whole sim's just going to be a slideshow at that point, so I can only apologise for that. Good fun though. 110. Once we're pointing back around, I'm going to rearm it. No. Oh, that's it, right. Insert. Hey, there it is. Now we can see. Vector is the previous point. There we go. So, sequence of the CF. Good. Thanks, FS Flight. 110. So now it gives me a bit of SA, so I can actually see when I'm pointing towards the runway a bit more easily. We could have told anyway. Could tell anyway. Now let's arm the LAD and the second autopilot. Cat 3, FD1 dual. Excellent. So I don't know if any of you saw what I did there. I took out the autopilot just as he decided we couldn't land because somebody was rolling on. I was hoping they weren't, but they were. So I stuck the autopilot back in and then went around. Now, if it was a 320 and I was flying, I wouldn't have bothered with that. We were too low down. Further out on the approach I would have done, but the reason I did it on this is because I know that the workload is going to go absolutely through the roof. So I was hoping it would do what it did, and it did. That works.
There is other traffic. Takeoff, Mike Delta, climb now, flight 41.
Excuse me.
Climbing now, Dave 0, got Mike Delta.
MSGN says at least it'd be a good looking slideshow. It would indeed. Or it'd be a foggy looking slideshow. They'll be loading all that scenery just to hide it again. Lock star.
Takeoff, 090 degrees, 2 knots.
12 miles out, 3,000 feet, intercepting at 9 miles. Good. Next will be the landing checklist. Got the auto brake. Yeah, okay. Similar position to where we were earlier, just with less fuel, 6.6 tons. So yeah, we're burning 4 tons an hour. So we're burning 8 tons an hour. So we have less than an hour's worth of fuel here. So that's it's a thirsty machine. Final reserve is 1.8, so we're okay, we're okay. It was because we had 3 tons of alternate fuel. Not helped by the way I'm flying around with flaps out.
Gatwick Director running 399 Echo Photo 163.
Here comes the glide slope.
November 701 Mike Bravo 08 right, clear to land, the wind 090 degrees, 2 knots.
Clear land 8 right, November 1 Mike Bravo.
Right.
36 kilo Mike behind, landing, Fokker, Crescent, Falcon.
9 miles, we're doing 180. I hope he lets us slow down. The next speed limit is caught me out last time, so the flaps 20 is going to be 195. Okay, so we're okay for the next stage of flaps. I'd like to slow down, really. There's a glide slope, 3,000 is in. Okay, he's not. He's busy. I know I need to slow down, so I'm just going to do it. 160 to 4, we'll assume until told otherwise. Sometimes you just have to do this. You just have to be practical with it. We'll put the gear down now. Arm the ground spoilers, they are armed, and the lights are on. Sinking into the murk. Whoa, it's
222 no speed.
Thank you for your speed, Manta 222. Okay, even better. I can put in the Apple 138. Make my life really easy. Next stage of flap. I love that sound. It just reminds me of long haul Airbuses. That high pitched whine of the flaps. Okay, speeds are good. Let's go to full flap. Gears down on that. Full flap. Low auto brake. This is one of those situations where it can just suddenly turn nasty on you. Suddenly turn into fog. Whoa, it's getting close. Again, amazing weather engine here. And remember, it should be dark outside. Right, landing checklist. Landing gear down, 3 greens. Auto brake low, anti-skid checks. Flat slaps, 30, 40. And spoilers are armed. Landing checks complete. So, I am going to disconnect the autopilot. I'm going to let the throttles close themselves for the landing. Landing checks complete. We are stable. What a machine. Yeah, it just takes one small change in the weather. If the temperature and dew point are that close, this is what can happen. Luckily, we can auto land, which we might need to at this rate.
Direct to Monarch 395.
No, actually, no, I doubt it. If you can see the ground here, you'll be fine. I'm getting too excited about it. But
395 go direct turbo, descend to flight level 80. Descend to flight level 80, Monarch 395.
Right, the replay is recording, but I don't think it's going to get many frame captures. We don't have clearance yet. We are slowly becoming visual.
Right there, 4 Romeo uniform. Behind the landing, A310, line up.
Oh, I'm not looking forward to this.
Line up 08 right after the landing A310, right at 4 Romeo.
Curious what the wind check comes in as. It's a bit lumpier than I expected. Close-up block to land. There it is, land mode at 400, so similar to the 320. Still waiting for clearance. Someone's vacating, I can see. Round 2, here we go. Yeah, we know how to go around. We press that button.
Director, would you like this to remote navigation?
Oh, they're taking off. Oh, please clear us, because I can't do several things at once. Autopilot off.
And 222, 08 right, clear to land, wind 090.
Clear to land 8 right, man to 222. Now it does need trimming a little bit, so it's gone a bit low. I'm not going to get too excited. We are following the glide slope. It looks roughly right. That was a bit firm, but there we go. Right. Spoilers. Reverse green. And decel. We've made it down. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Yeah, a bit of a float there, and I didn't want to float anymore. It's through 70 knots. Reverse idle. I'm just going to go to forward idle. Slow it down a bit. Goodness me. There we go. Right, vacating. Very twitchy on that nose wheel. Welcome to Gatwick. Second time lucky. Yeah, this is absolutely hammering. 121.8, match 222. Thanks for your help, mate. Right, let's get ourselves off the runway so he can actually clear the aircraft he wants to. And you'll see from here it looks fine, but on approach it wasn't so good. Well, that was good fun. A bit of a dynamic situation to be in. 1218. Often you'll have that tuned up, ready to go. Can't see it. 118. Ground, Manta 222, runway vacated.
Gatwick ground, no taxi stand, flight 61 via Juliet, Quebec, Lima and Quebec Alpha.
Thank you, Juliet, Quebec, Lima and Quebec Alpha. And sorry, confirm the stand for us, please. Manta 222.
Stand 561.
Stand 561. Thank you very much. Right. Parking stands. We are here, crossing over Juliet, Quebec, Quebec Alpha, 561. That's about where we normally park. Excellent. It's like their controller knows us. They know the Manta stands. Landing lights off, strobe lights off, APU on. Come on, airplane, move, 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 move. Flaps up, ground spoilers disarm. APU starts. Lovely. Thanks to you, boss. Good to see you. Yeah, a new plane in our hangar, exactly. We'll be using this again because who can resist a bit of heavy metal? And I'm hoping we can get the performance up a notch or two. Right, was this Quebec? Yes, this is Quebec. Yeah, I made my first video at Gatwick, so I think it's the having VATSIM traffic on that's causing this problem. But there we go. But thanks for coming, boss. Thanks everyone for coming. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed that approach. That's exactly what can happen in real life. You know, you arrive somewhere thinking everything's fine, the forecast is all fine, and then, well, maybe not. Maybe it's all suddenly coming in. It's starting to fog out. Now it didn't, but it could have got worse from that point. It may still. Who knows? I mean, the forecast probably did include it. We didn't really talk about the forecast today, but it's just fun to see it. And again, Microsoft Flight Simulator's weather engine is still industry leading. That's I cannot believe how good that looked out the windows and how close that was to the experience you'd have and the view you'd have. Sort of a dust landing in London, evening like this. The super pro says that go around nice. Yeah, it was good fun. And again, sorry I didn't do it quite like I'm sure it's supposed to be done at all in any way. But I just wanted to get the autopilot in to allow me to have some hope of managing the radio and the go around and the aeroplane and the configuration. There is a replay coming, but I really don't know how it's going to work, so I'm not going to suggest that we're going to get a good replay here, because my replay software captures frames, but if there's this low FPS, it will struggle to have done that. So there might be a lot of lagging. A-Spec wants an A310 flight test. Yeah, we could do that. That's an interesting idea. I need to learn a bit more. I need to speak to FS Productions about the 310 systems and Matteo as well, and see if we can see what I need to talk about properly, or I might surprise myself. Could give it a go anyway, just as a pilot who doesn't know what's going on, I suppose. GKO, thanks very much. 561. Whoa. Oh dear, my poor computer. It's never had to work this hard since it's been built. It does look pretty. It is a pretty slideshow, exactly. Love the tail lights. These are the nav lights, but they didn't fit on the tail, so they stuck them on the wingtip. Few airplanes have that. I will leave the engines running, of course, for the replay, but there we go. Perfect. Right, parking brake is set. Thank you, Rooster, for the subscription. Ah, yes. If we can get camera views that look straight out the window, I'd be really appreciative as well. That would be great. I love having them in showcase, the fixed cameras, but I would just like some more wing views in there that look straight out the window. That'd be amazing if that's possible. Right. Now let's see. We don't know any of that. Thank you to VATSIM. They've been absolutely amazing today. Dealt with a very tricky situation. They looked after us nicely. Let's see. Yeah, slight improvement in the frame rate straight away. So welcome to Gatwick. I hope you've enjoyed the flight. I hope you've enjoyed the aircraft. What an amazing machine. If you're totally lost with what to do with the aircraft, then I have the tutorial up on the channel now, and there'll be more videos to come. More live streams in the future, different aircraft, of course, as well as the A310, A320, and other upcoming aircraft when they come out. And we've flown lots of Boeings as well. So do please subscribe if you'd like to see more content of me struggling with this and other airplanes. Oh dear. And let's give it a go on the replay. Oh, I've missed so much chat. I'm so sorry. So sorry. Everything's been lagging so badly for me today. This does not have an autosave. No, as far as I'm aware, fly all day, this does not have an autosave. Right. Let's see. Stop recording. So, what I'll do, let's get out of the drone. Let's put the flaps out. So this is all bonus footage now. I'm just going to let the flaps travel because my replay software relies on it all being in the right place. So I can arm the ground spoilers and release the parking brake. And then we're going to go replay. I'll be so impressed if this works. I think we might end up with just a simulator that's broken here. So ignore everything on the PFD. This is nonsense. Oh, interesting. There we go. So this was our go around. That was a bit of a takeover. And there we went.
Too low, flaps. Too low, gear. Too low, gear. Too low, gear. Too low, gear. Too low, gear.
As you can see, replays are not, they're just not very functional. It's an amazing tool, but it's limited, put it that way. It's a great piece of freeware. I just wish we had proper working replays, I really do. Right, let's have a look at the landing. Please stop warning me, I know. There we go. Gear is down, flaps are at full. Well, they're not quite down. It's a good job it's so pretty because it makes up for these frustrations. Yeah, all of these performance issues you're seeing, I mean the replay doesn't work, there's no replay of Microsoft Flight Simulator that works any better than that. But the performance issues are entirely because I've got Gatwick and the 310. Now I managed to make a video like this and so I was hoping the stream would go a bit better, but that sim as well, it was just too much for my computer. You need a very good processor. So yeah, that 0 feet per minute I think you guys saw, it definitely wasn't the case. Yeah, fly-by-wire A320 NEO does a lot better. Yeah, Phoenix as well. And PMDG, frankly. Lots of great. So I'm optimistic this can be improved in terms of performance. There. 40 to 30 was too slow. And there we go. Seems fine. Not a lot to say about that, really. So let's put it on approach. Okay. And turn down the desktop audio a little bit. Right, I'm going to say, let's get rid of this the brakes. And I'm going to say thank you all so much for coming along to the stream today. It's been a long one. We've been going for 3 hours. Yeah, 3 hours for a 2-hour flight. But yeah, thank you all so much for coming along. I hope you've enjoyed it. Like I say, absolutely amazing to have. Get the camera inside. I wish. Can I? That noise in my chair constantly creaking. Oh, look at that. It gives a different screen. No, I was hoping my head tracking would let me move. I don't know how to maneuver this camera around, so it's not much use at the moment. So let's go for... There we go. Yeah, so yeah, thank you all so much for coming along. And absolutely brilliant that this aircraft has been provided as freeware. I think it's an amazing thing. Certainly not something I ever expected. So absolutely brilliant. I hope I have given you a bit of an insight into what this airplane's about. My knowledge is very limited, but thank you for those who've helped along. Thanks Mateo, thanks to FS Flight Production, thanks to everyone else who's all those great bits of knowledge amongst the community that have helped me out. Hopefully, if you do want a bit of a tutorial, then I have my video up on the channel. There's also a video about the DC Designs AV8B Harrier I put up as well, if you're interested in that. And we'll be live streaming again soon, more videos to come soon, so do please subscribe. And otherwise, thanks to the moderators for looking after us. Thanks for the people who kindly donated and super chatted, really appreciate it. Thanks for supporting the channel. But as well, thank you for watching along at home. That makes a huge difference, really appreciate it. And those who chatted as well. If you are on YouTube, do please leave a like on the way out. It does make a big difference to the channel, so that'd be really appreciated. Yeah, we will see you again next time. Keep safe and well. Bye bye.